Yeah, that's the movie in a nutshell. But hold on,
All right, so let's move on to the next movie that also has to do with drugs, but from the other side.
Yeah.
States have legalized sport betting. Sport betting's illegal? Oh.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Here we go. Which states have legalized CBD oil? Which states have legalized... Oh my god, everything's about gambling. Online gambling, sport... Okay, no. Here it is. This is the exact thing that people have typed in. Which states have legalized... Not marijuana, not weed, not bud. Marijuanas. Which states have legalized marijuanas?
That wacky tobacco motherfucker.
Oh, I nearly spat out my Coke.
Wacky tobacco. Okay, hold on a minute. I'm trying to figure out. Marijuana is lawed by illegal weed map. Ooh, this looks promising.
That's a really terrifying Uber ride.
This is promising.
Okay, so it looks like fully legal. We got, oh, hell, whole shit. We got Alaska's down for it, Nevada, California, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, Michigan, and is ME isn't Massachusetts, is it? It might be Massachusetts.
Manitoba.
And honestly, medically legal in a bunch of the other, in most of the states, and there's only 3 states where it's prohibited.
Oh.
It's South Dakota, Nebraska, and Idaho.
Well, speaking of Idaho, that's where the next movie takes place.
Yay, transitions!
So,
the film
this is
that
Jack's movie.
Yes, it is. The film that I chose for Ethan and I to watch is called Kid Cannabis, which came out in 2014, and it is based on a true story, which is always more fun. The public eat that shit up if it says that for some reason. Because who doesn't like relating to shit, right?
Yeah.
So, as Ethan has said, our story starts out in Idaho in 2005 at the time of Halloween, where we're introduced to our 2 main characters, known as Nate Norman and Topher.
Topher, ironic because we were just talking about Topher Grace.
So these 2 are just buddy-buddy. The top 2, they met each other, they're just great friends, and they just love dope. They absolutely love weed.
Well, here's the thing. Nate is like the pudgy fat kid that you'd forget. He looks exactly like someone I knew in high school. I'm not even joking. I took out my yearbook to confirm this. He looks exactly like a kid I knew in high school. It's uncanny.
So he's short, chubby, with glasses and curly hair. Pasty as fuck. That's basically, that's him.
And Topher.
And Topher is more like a Tanner, Scott Dixon kind of.
Yeah, he's from Boston.
He's from Boston. Boston. So throughout the whole film, Nate is actually narrating the story at certain pieces and certain parts of it. So he's just talking about what, a little bit more behind the scenes of what's going on. But anyway, we
meet Brendan Butler.
They're on their way to his house for a party, which is just off a beautiful lake. We're introduced to the main antagonist, who's an absolute fucking cock nozzle, and that's Brendan Butler. Who is this?
He looks like a stripper cowboy.
I wrote gay cowboy on my paper.
Yeah, that too.
He's like the big drug lord kingpin, like loudmouth piece of shit.
And he's also a teenager.
He's also a teenager. He was like adopted, and it describes him as like, he was in an orphanage, and he woke up in like this mansion on the side of this lake in Idaho, and now he's just a rich namby-pamby little fucker, loudmouth. And he's running around there. A whole bunch of people are partying with him. He's drinking, they're smoking weed, whatever. And he's got like this. It's Halloween, right? So he's got like this cowboy thing on. He's got like a vest. He's got the boots. He's got holsters with 2 revolvers that are actually loaded. And he's got a Speedo. And along his torso, he has a bandolier filled with joints. So where bullets would go, it's just joints. So he takes up the joints. He's throwing them to the crowd, people, throwing them out everywhere.
Okay,
and Nate and Topher get to the doorman. There's a guard there, and they get to the doorman. They'll say, okay, can we come in, please? Just tell us, we know Wang. Just tell Wang that we're here. And Wang is, I don't know, an offensive term towards Brendan Butler. And so the guy calls the Brendan. He's like, yeah, some guy named Wang.
Well, Jack, Wang is the most common last name in the world.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm not joking. Mohammed is the most common first name, and Wang is the most common last name. So, Mohammed Wang, the most common name in the world.
Okay. So, needless to say, he doesn't take too kindly to this and takes out his revolvers and
He
fucking
starts-
shoots at them off the property in front of a whole bunch of witnesses.
And I love how, like, right before they got to the front door, they talked to like 3 girls, and then they run past them back into their car, and Brendan Butler's still shooting at them as they're driving away, and then he just starts chatting them up with them like nothing happened.
Yeah, completely normal.
And
Completely
he
normal.
says to them, this is it, word for word, what he says. You ever been in a 4-way?
Yeah. After shooting at people, just like casually walks up to them. It's like, there's a few funny, like weird moments that happen in this movie that are just kind of. So, you know, we after this we get introduced more. It dominantly focuses on Nate in the first act. We don't really see. He's definitely the main character in this story. He organizes everything. So at the very beginning, we're introduced to his.
We get a long narration of him.
Yes, we get a long narration of him talking about how he's tired of his shitty life. He has his mom and his little brother to look after, and the mom works a bunch of jobs, and they're hustling.
And the thing is that we see is that, like, he's the one cooking the food in the morning. He's the one waking up his mom to get to work in the morning.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the most mature and responsible person in the house by the looks of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so we then follow Nate to his job. So he's a pizza delivery dude, and he's delivering pizzas. And he goes to this one house that's out in the middle of nowhere, and a dude opens it up, and it's just stereotypical loudmouth white guy who's like made a bunch of fucking money, you know.
And he's disappointed.
What?
Because he's disappointed that Nate is the one that's delivering the pizza, because he
Yes.
wanted the redhead with the big jugs.
To come and deliver the pizza for him.
Because he has a girl already like naked on the bed, so I guess he was expecting a fucking 3-way
or something like that. Yeah. And so throughout him offering money, like the total, it's so stupid. The total of the pizza, the guy can't pay for it because the bills are too big. He only has hundreds or whatever.
Yeah, he doesn't have 20s.
He doesn't have 20s until he finds a fucking 20, and it's like, well, you still owe me $23. It's like, well, you just took hits off and you know, he offers him the joint. Nate takes some hits off of it, and you know, he's like mind blown by it. He's like, yo, dude, this is awesome. Where'd you get this from? He's like, oh, Canada. Canada grows all the good shit, man. You gotta go to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of gets the ball rolling in Nate's mind.
Yeah. And as we're like listening to him narrate things, I was just sitting there watching, and then he suddenly was like, as Donald Trump said, I'm like, wait, what? And then I was like, oh yeah, this is before he was the president, before, you know, everyone hated him.
Yeah, this is pre-Trump, you know.
Yeah, this is 2004 when the movie takes place. No, 2005, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, this is 05. The movie's taking place in 05. It came out in 2014. But,
yeah,
so after this, you know, actually, I did notice something. I did notice a continuity error.
Really?
When he was at the house, there was a continuity. There's a couple in the movie, actually. There's another one I need to. Basically, he delivers 2 boxes of pizza, right?
Uh-huh.
He drops it off to the guy, and there's a shot where Nate is walking away, and the guy spins around the kitchen, and he's holding 2 boxes of pizza. He's like, "Girls, we got pie." So the guy is holding the 2 boxes, right? But right behind him, in the shot, on the island, are the 2 boxes that Nate put down on the table for him. So it's almost as if, for whatever reason, they had spares and they left them in the shot. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, because I can't see 4 pizzas costing.
That was the pizza for the crew. That was like their lunchtime stuff. They just left it there.
See?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they just fucking left it there. And so after that, you know, he starts thinking to himself, he's like, I got a shitty job, I got a shitty life. You know, everyone around here loves to smoke weed. I love to smoke weed, and there's a bunch of it up in Canada. And if I were to sell some of it, I could make a fucking lot of money. So, in his mind, Nate's like, okay, I'm gonna go have to talk to a lawyer. I want to make sure my ass is covered. I just want to make sure that if there's any jail time that yeah, exactly, this part, right?
Yeah, this part of the movie, my mom came downstairs asking me what the fuck I was watching. And it was right when we saw this random guy with this really awful looking face, and she's like, oh, that guy looks awful. I'm like, oh, that's not the main guy. And then suddenly, as I continued to watch, he fucking took him. He goes into the room, and then the lawyer's like, take that stupid mask off. And then he takes the mask off like it's fucking Mission Impossible.
It's actually a shockingly realistic looking
mask,
like a human mask that goes all over the head completely. It's actually, you know, from a distance, you would not be able to tell.
So
That's the mask.
Is this a stoner movie? I'm still not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a stoner movie that goes Wolf of Wall Street. Yes.
Yeah, and they're all the guys who are involved are either our age or younger. That's why it's called Kid Cannabis. They become, you know. And he just asks the lawyer basic questions. You know, how much time could I get?
He does the classic, my friend is doing this thing.
Yes, my friend.
My uncle works at Nintendo.
Yes, exactly. My friend, or, you know, I just need, this is for someone else. It's not for me. And the lawyer the lawyer just levels with him and tells him a bunch of shit. Like, it depends on the state. It depends if you're carrying a gun. It depends how much you're carrying. It depends, blah, 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 blah. Just a bunch of legal jargon.
Okay.
And then it cuts. This is one of the strangest parts in the whole movie. Yeah. It cuts away to him talking with Topher. Now, for some reason, they're on a dinghy, okay, in the middle of this lake, in the middle of a lake in Idaho, in the summertime. Two 20-year-olds on a dinghy, and Nate comes out of the water with a snorkel and mask. Now, can you please tell me, in 2005 in Idaho, why guys our age, out of anything they could be doing, why the fuck are they snorkeling in a fucking lake in Idaho? What the fuck is there to see in the lake of Idaho?
What else do you do in Idaho?
I don't know. But
exactly, Jack. That's the only thing you do there.
Well, wait. Jack, I think I know what they might have been doing.
What?
Remember how, like, a few scenes later, they find that boat and sell it?
Yes.
I think that's what they were doing. They were looking
trying to
for
sell
the
a boat?
Okay. Snorkeling in Idaho.
Okay, but... So what I just wanted to say is, I saw a Simpsons episode, and they do this exact thing where they go to Canada to get drugs, and then they just sell it back. And I was just like, is this going to end like the Simpsons episode? And it did. It did.
It did. So they got they're after they've agreed, you know,
to go into business together.
They need to plan the route. They need to figure out, okay, how do we get from here? You know, we're gonna get up there to Canada.
How do we get across the border?
How do we get across the border, sneaky like, right? So they make up their minds that they're gonna have to run across the border in the middle of the brush. They can't go through a checkpoint carrying a whole shit ton of drugs or get caught or whatever. So they just decide, let's dress up in our camo. Let's run. Let's try to make it from here across the border.
And I like how when they get there, it's just this open field of area, and they're just like, all right, we're going to have to sprint it. We're going to have to run for it. And I love when they're running across, we get a shot of the camera looking at them, and I really thought all this camera footage would be important by the end. It's not.
No, it really isn't.
But, okay, so then they just get onto a road, and they're like, well, where are we in Canada? It's like, how are we going to know if we're in Canada? I'm like, so they're going to pass a speed limit sign that's in kilometers. And right on cue, as I wrote that down, there's the speed limit sign in kilometers.
It's like, oh shit, we're in Canada. Yo, that's awesome. And
so then they get the boat that I was just talking about. They sell.
Yes, they go back. They have the route, but now they go back. So they go back they find that boat. They get the boat. They tow it out of the fucking lake that they were playing around in. How they do it, whatever. They tow it out of there.
This boat was something that I was kind of annoyed about because it just was like, oh yeah, we found this boat in the lake and we sold it. I'm like, what boat?
they sold it for like $1,800, and then they're like, okay, so they take the money, they get into their car, and they decide to go through the checkpoint to go up through Canada to see if they can find any dealers.
This might be my favorite line in the whole movie. I'm just, the border guard is just like, where you boys going? And he's like, Canada? Where in Canada? The inside.
The inside part.
I like that. That's actually funny.
Oh, and then Nate says the stupidest thing ever. It's like, we sold all our drugs to get this ride. That gets them in a lot of trouble.
Can you please pull over to the inspection area over in Lot B?
And Nate is fucking wearing a weed shirt. Why would you be wearing a shirt like that when you're going to buy drugs?
It's like, like Bugs Bunny cartoons when they say, like, it's rabbit season, duck season, and then Bugs Bunny says it's rabbit season. And then,
well, no, he says...
it's subversion, you know? You look at it, you're like, he's not going to buy drugs. He's wearing a weed shirt.
So what do we got now?
So then, when their car's getting inspected, they pull out a paintball gun. And it's like, what is this? And it's like, I don't play paintball. Then they get into the even further search, where they get full cavity searches all around.
strip down, finger up ass, the whole 9 yards.
All I could think of was the Beavis and Butthead movie, if you've ever seen that.
Long time ago. But
Because
anyway,
there's a character in that movie who keeps demanding cavity searches.
they get...
they find nothing.
Clearance. They don't find anything, obviously, because they're not carrying anything. So they go up through Canada and they head out. They get to this rundown kind of weed dispensary place, and they're chatting up to this dude who's pretty. He's like Garth from Wayne's World behind the counter. He's just talking to them.
Have you ever seen Walking Dead?
Yes.
Okay, the guy who does like the zombie special effects, Greg Nicotero.
Nicotero, yeah.
Yeah, he looks like Greg Nicotero.
He kind of does with the glasses. Yeah. Without the glasses, I could see that. Yeah.
So,
but either way, they're just talking to the shooting the shit. They're like, hey man, we got $1,800. We need to buy, And the guy's like, whoa. We don't do wholesale, man. We're just sell, use whatever. Then this sketchy looking guy comes around the corner.
Yeah,
he's like, hey,
fucking sketchy, scratching himself kind of guy comes up.
Exactly. And he's like, hey, you wanna make you wanna buy some weed? Follow me.
And he takes them to his den.
Takes him to his den. There's like a bloody pillow and bloody sheets on the ground. And he goes over to his like broken fridge, opens it up, grabs his big ass paper bag, looks for the weed. He's like, okay, here's the weed. Now give me the money.
And then they're like, can we even like sample? He's like, no, fuck off.
Give me the money. He just grabs the money from him and they run out the door. And it's like sends them right the fuck on their way. So
then what happens is they drive up to, and then they stop, and then Topher gets out with the product, and he has to run across the border, that they were doing earlier.
And Nate decides to go back to the checkpoint. He pulls up to the booth. They're like, "Where's Christopher?" Wait, who?
You mean Topher?
Your friend? He's like, "Oh, you mean Topher? Oh, he's hooking up with one of the Canada's finest girls. I'm leaving him up there." And then he's just like,
they take him through the full cavity search.
Yeah, he's just like, Mr. Norman, can you please park over there at Inspection B? It's just like sick entertainment at this point. These bastards keep doing it to him.
So then they made up back in the U.S. and they're able to quickly sell the weed for like $2,000.
Yeah, they make $200. Yeah.
So now it's April 6th, 2006.
Here we are.
And the boys they're going on another drug run, and they get pulled over by police. And when they get pulled over, I'm like,
they're in Canada right now, by the way.
Yeah.
They went through another cavity check or whatever, and now they're on their. They're in Canada. They're going to find some more weed.
They're going to some place.
Yes.
But they're going to the same place they did the first time. But when they get pulled over, it's like, yeah, your friend there wasn't wearing his safety belt. And I'm like, did they seriously get pulled over because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt?
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Well, to be fair, I was in the car with my dad, and we got pulled over because we had a rear license plate cover, so,
Yeah, that happened, especially here. It depends where you live. Like me, living out in the country, cops are desperate for entertainment, okay? Yeah. They but either way, that's what happens to these guys up north. They get pulled over for having a seatbelt. They get pulled over because Topher wasn't wearing his seatbelt, and they're, he's asking them all these questions like, where are you guys going? They're like, oh, we're going to, Nelson. Why are you going to Nelson? Oh, we're going to go visit a friend. Oh, well, where does your friend live? What's their name? Yellow House. He lives in a.
I know it if I went there, I'd know how to find.
Yeah. I don't know the street number. And then the cop just kind of catches on, writes him a ticket, and he's like, if you guys are looking to score some weed, you got to head up to here and take that road. Take Highway 36 up and stop there. Now, here's your ticket. Wear your seatbelt. You boys have a nice day. And then walks back to his car. And the two of them both get their seatbelts back on. They're like, what the fuck? Canada's the coolest. And they pull out as they drive away.
So then they're just at a gas station, and Topher meets a girl named Nicole. And she's just like, you want to buy some weed?
Yeah, this is before they even get to their destination. This is complete luck, chance, whatever, right?
And she's just like, yeah, you want to buy some weed? And he's like, okay. So then she takes them, back to her house. And then they're in the backyard. And then she walks up to her mom, and it's like, yeah, these boys want to buy some weed. Then she yells over to the husband, who's mowing the lawn. And they get taken to the fucking growing plant.
Yes, and oh boy, Hunter, you should probably watch. Hunter, you get a kick out of watching this movie. Maybe you won't watch it since we're telling you about it. But they end up getting led blindfolded by this man to his weed house laboratory thing, where it is just completely full of glorious, glorious, large, healthy weed plants. And he talks about where he got them from and how he crossbred them. And it's like, yeah, I got this from a government laboratory, this one. And I got this one from here. And I've been working on this strand for like 7 years now. And blah, 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 blah.
And then, he starts teaching them life lessons. He starts telling them how to deal it out properly. And then he says, like, what was it? Like the THC content and this stuff, and like the stuff they make is like 25%. And they're used to like 7% or some shit.
Exactly. Yeah. Their stuff is a lot more potent and powerful and just nicer.
Yeah. And I love how they're getting taught these life lessons by these drug dealers.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And he's like, Clint Eastwood is cool. 12 to 20 words per picture. Don't talk.
Don't need to boast. Don't need anything. The daughter's like, Dad, you're too high to be talking about this shit. And he's just like, you're so right. Like, I should not be talking right now.
Topher and Nicole, they're gonna fuck. We know that's gonna happen.
And they do fuck.
In fact, Nate wakes up to them fucking on the couch right next to him. So then, Nate goes into the kitchen and he takes a tiny little bit of the weed. He puts it in a condom. That was Topher's condom, by the way. Because he knew Topher wouldn't actually fucking use his condom. And then he swallows it.
Yeah, he stuffs some weed in the condom for a sample to bring back, and he swallows it down whole. Because obviously, right now, they need to get a buyer. Yeah. So now they have a supplier, but now they need to get a buyer, a wholesale buyer.
Then Nate goes back across the border. He left Topher in Canada.
Okay.
He left him back there. And now Nate's in a strip club, and we meet Ron Perlman.
Oh, Ron Perlman's in this movie. Oh, yay.
Ron fucking Perlman is in this movie.
Ron Perlman.
So, and he plays a guy named Barry. He's the legitimate businessman.
Yeah. Legitimate cell phone businessman.
Yeah, and I like how he goes, he's like, can I buy that guy a beer? And she's like, what kind of beer? He's like, I don't know. It's like, we got a lot of beers. It's like, just give him what that guy's having. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I love it.
And so, because he's trying to make an interaction with him, right? So the waitress comes back the beer, gives it to Ron Perlman. She's like, it's from that kid over there. And Ron Perlman deadass looks at this guy, and they make eye contact, and he's like awkwardly waving to him, and he just looks at the beer like disgusted as if it's like rat piss, and then just moves it away from his table. Moves it away from.
Nate walks up to him to try and talk. He's like, "I'm a legitimate businessman. I don't know what you're talking about." And then as Nate, has a conversation with Topher, because Topher's like, "You fucking left me in Canada, you asshole," he then suddenly gets a dance paid by Ron Perlman.
So before we get into this dance / discussion, every time Nate meets a new person, he has a unique greeting that I picked up on how he says it, and it's the best, not most memeable thing, but something that I've been able to say. And this is how he greets people. It's literally walks up to him, he's like, "Hi, Nate, pleasure," and then shakes their hand. He's like, "Hi, Nate, pleasure," and then shakes their hands.
So
it's so weird. It's so bad, cringy. He's so fucking awkward.
He looks exactly like someone I knew in high school who was really awkward and cringy.
So during the strip dance or whatever, she's basically giving him the rundown on Barry, asking him questions for Barry.
Also checking if he's wearing a wire.
Doing all this shit. And sure enough, he checks out. And then there's a meeting. They're in a parking garage. Ron Perlman's sitting there with Nate, and he gives Ron Perlman. He's like, "Here's some bud. It's better than This is Brandon's distributor, actually. So Mr. Butler would be given weed. The Asian dude would be giving him weed, but now Nate's got much better weed than Brandon has. And Ron Perlman's like, "Hey, this is pretty good shit, man."
And he gives him $600,000 odd to go back to Canada and buy the weed.
Yes. He's like, "Ron, I can bring you 300 pounds. He's like, "Okay, that's $600,000. Give me my weed. If you fuck me, I know all about you. I know what school your brother goes to. I know where your mother works. I know where you fucking live. Do not fuck me, man."
And then his 3-year-old son's in the back seat.
Yeah, so Nate gets out of the truck and he looks back at his grandson. He's like, "Yes, we go to beach now." Because he's from Israel. He's from Israel, right? Apparently. And he's like, "Don't we're going to beach now."
Well, then Nate gathers his troops. And I want to describe why he gathered these people in particular. So
God.
So you got the boy who fed him for free multiple times. You got a kid whose cop's a father, so they can get, some info on what the cops are doing. The only jock who never beat him up. The kid that always beat him at paintball. A friend who took the heat for Nate a couple times. And the last,
absolute
but not least,
best.
Scuzz!
Scuzz.
Why did he get Scuzz? Because he's Scuzz.
Scuzz is literally just supposed to
He's
be
a
like...
Scuzz bag.
He's Scuzz Bucket. He's just that's all he refers to him as. The whole movie, it's Scuzz. Everyone calls it to him. His face.
His girlfriend's name is Scuzz Bucket.
Yeah, Miss Bucket. Mr. Scuzz and Miss Bucket. That's what Nate refers to them as later on in the movie.
So then the boys train. They can't just be in the forest. They must become the forest. They get gillied up.
They get all gillied up. They go on runs to get fitness because they do run a fair share of like a few clicks in between, drop off points, whatever, right?
So
because these boys need to run across the border, pick up the weed from that side of the border, run across back to the U.S. and then drop it off in vehicles. They use vehicles in tandem on either side, right?
They have a car, the decoy car. It's Scuzz's car, and they set it up with gasoline to blow it up if the cops ever pull them over.
As a distraction. Yeah, they wire it with fucking gasoline, and Scuzz is just like, why are you doing this to my car? Because it's gonna blow up anyway. Looks like
it's your car's shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyway, they do their first trip, and it all goes well.
And they celebrate, and they're going to a bar, and they're cheersing, and like, yeah, man, this is the best, yo, talk, blah, blah, blah,
and then
blah, blah.
some random fucking 12-year-old fucking dick.
Fuck boy walks up to the table talking to Topher like, hey, man, I hear you're smuggling weed across the border. I want in.
And he's just fucking flat out insults Nate.
It's brilliant stuff. The shit he calls him. It looks Nate's like trying to butt in and be like, yo, where'd you hear that from, kid? He's like, shut the fuck up, man. I'm not talking to you. Toph, man, please hook me up. And Nate's like, no, kid, get the fuck out of here. Go back to wherever you came from. And the best insult that I've heard in a long ass time. This kid deadass looks over to Nate and says, shut up, you fat Teletubby fuck. I'm not talking to you. and starts yelling back at Topher. But eventually, the kid's mom, who's there with him, grabs him and pulls him away.
Oh, and then we get a part. So after Nate pays them all, he gets into an argument with Topher. Because Nate's holding out on them. And he is 100% holding out on them. Like, Topher just asks for an extra 10 grand. He could have easily done it. He self-admits, I could have easily done it with money to spare.
And so the next, what happens next? Because the next thing the next thing I have is I've written down. This goes on for a while, right, Hunter? They do runs. They make a bunch of money.
Yeah,
Nate goes out and
Nate buys a new house.
A new nice house right on
and
it's
his
right
brother.
On the water.
His brother instantly knows he's dealing drugs.
Yeah, exactly. And he just tells him shut the fuck up.
And his mom seems to know, but she's like, "Oh, this is so great. I'm just gonna not acknowledge it."
She's kind of just riding it out, right? And then it happens.
They get. Oh, I just like how they had an apartment in Canada just to stash weed.
Yeah. So we're getting a nice little montage. Oh, they're buying this. Oh, they're making this much money. Oh, they're delivering it. Oh, everything's so good. And it says, and then we got a big wake-up call. My head was so far up my ass, National Geographic couldn't find it. And so here we are at night, and the guys are coming back from a run.
Topher and the boys. Nate's not on the
boys. Yeah, Nate's not there. Nate's not there for some reason.
Nate's never on the runs with them. He is He's like the business planner. He's the white collar worker to their
Even though he trained with them and we see him in training montages to lose weight, he doesn't actually go on runs, which I think is kind of fucking stupid. But anyway.
Well, you know what? Here's how I describe it. He's the white collar worker. They're the blue collar jockeys.
And so what happens is the boys come back. It's pitch black. They got their bags of weed. They're walking along looking for the car to pick up, and all of a sudden, bright lights come out, and you have obviously it's Brandon Butler. Even they know it's probably Brandon Butler, but he's got a mask on. He's got his gun. He's like, "Hey, only I smuggle shit through here. Comprende? You understand that? Now hand it over. Hand it over." And Topher's like, "Okay, take it easy, man. Take it easy." And Topher's slowly approaching him. And Topher just swings the bag he's holding and hits him down a little bit, knocks the gun. He's like, turns around and says, "Fucking run!" And they all start running away.
And Brendan shoots 3 shots, and then he's out of ammo. And I'm like,
or it jams. I think it jams.
It either jams or he's out. And I'm just.
He's got like a. Where's he got? He's got like this big deagle because he's all about the.
He's got to look big and tough.
Yeah, he's inflated ego, even though he's like Ethan's height. You know, like he's got a.
My height, but it's like, your waist, Hunter.
Yeah.
He's as thin as you, buddy.
Hunter still here? Hunter?
I'm so lost right now. I'm not gonna lie. I have.
What are you lost?
You
This
guys
movie's
have been
so
talking
less
so
complicated.
fast, and I'm trying to like keep up,
Well,
and I don't know half these
because-
characters you're saying. Like,
Well,
who
because most of them don't matter. Oh, the only ones that matter are
Okay.
Nate, Topher, Brendan, and Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman. Okay, so
Okay.
here's what's going on in a nutshell, Hunter. There are guys our age who want to sell weed and make a bunch of money. They
No,
get it,
I get
they live in
that.
Idaho. They live in Idaho, right? You're with me so far?
I get all that. I'm just now confused and like, I don't know what I'm confused about. Keep going.
Okay, all right.
I don't know how. I'm so confused. I don't know how to explain
So
what I'm confused about.
after that stick up or whatever, the guys get back and they freak the fuck out at Nate. Like, Nate, we deserve to get more money, blah, blah, blah. We want triple pay, blah, blah, blah. And Nate acts all like, oh, well, I'm not going to be making any money, but it makes you guys happy, which is a blatant lie. Because Nate has been robbing them like hand over fist this whole fucking time with how much money he makes from the run.
The only reason he gives them the triple pay for their next run is because if he didn't, they would have fucking beat his ass.
What happened
Yeah.
to the crackhead at the beginning?
What?
The crackhead who's like, give me your money, I want your money, and then they
Oh,
give him
yeah,
money.
the crackhead. No, we never see him again.
Yeah, we never see him again.
They just avoid him because the weed they gave him was the weed that he gave them
because
was
they're going
shit.
they're going to a completely different town now.
Yeah.
Oh, so now we have a party at Nate's place, and he explains in the narration, all the lessons we were taught by that, the weed dealer, that the old man that they met, who sells them all of it, they forgot all that shit. They don't give. They're just riding the high. This is when the movie becomes Wolf of Wall Street.
Wait. So they almost get mugged, and now they're at a party?
They're fucking
So what
living life.
happens? What happens is the rich Asian guy with the busted up ego.
Wait, there's a rich
tries
Asian?
to rob them.
Yeah, he tried to. He failed.
But
He
I
failed.
thought it was Cowboy Bebop.
It is.
Who?
Yeah.
Oh, he's Asian?
Cowboy.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
Yeah. Brandon Butler, aka the Asian with Asian
Brendan.
asshole, aka Cowboy. Yeah, they're all
AKA
the same
Wang.
guy. AKA Wang. They're all the same. It's the same dude.
Oh,
So-
I thought when they were asking for Wang, it was a different guy, and then Cowboy
Yeah.
was like, "Get the fuck off my property." Okay.
No. It's all the same guy.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, for whatever reason, well, no, he lives on the water, so he's literally like almost a neighbor to Nate because they're by the water of the same lake,
And
which is kind of stupid in hindsight. Why you move right next door to the guy who fucking hates you?
I love how they're having a party, and he's pissed off that they're having a party, and he just points his gun and shoots at the party. No one cares.
Off his balcony, he's like, "You want to make a fool of me?" And he pulls out
Are
his
you
gun.
doing your Yoda fucking voice?
He pulls out the deagle or whatever, right? He's holding this pussy-ass little dog in his hand, pulls out his deagle, and just fires a shot in that general direction, like, half a kilometer down the lake. And all we see it hit a tree, and there are just a bunch of girls with beers, like, hanging around the tree, and everyone just kind of stops for a second,
And then they just start up.
and they just keep on drinking and whatever, right? They're like, what the fuck was that?
So then, Jack, I found this a bit funny because I really can't think of many movies that this happens.
What?
We saw Nate's full-on boner through his pants.
Yeah. His fun-sized curved dick, as he
Yeah.
referred to it as earlier.
Oh, and
He's
Hunter,
he's
if you don't know
narrating
this,
about it.
Hunter, if you haven't figured out yet, there is a lot of nudity in this movie.
No, I
and
haven't
there's gonna
figured
be a
that
lot
out.
more soon. Don't worry.
It's delightful. But
What's
anyway,
stoner comedy? I'm
uh,
assuming there is.
it's he's giving us a narration. It's like he's got two. It's a pretty good feeling bringing back two hot girls whose names you don't know to the bedroom. But here's a really weird thing that this movie has weird things sometimes, but this is one of them that really bothered me. So this is broad daylight. They're having this nice big beach party. And he's got a bunch of people his age, maybe a couple of years younger, maybe a few years older, drinking, partying, doing whatever, weed, probably cocaine somewhere, the shit, right? And in the daytime, in this nice house, with, these girls he's walking to the bedroom with, there are people everywhere. His mom and brother in, like, normal street clothes.
Yeah, they're just
walk
there.
by him, or they're just there. Like, everyone's in a swimsuit. Everyone's been swimming or doing whatever, and it's broad daylight, and he's walking back with these two whores back to his room, and, he's... And, he's like, "Hey, Mom, how's it going?" Mom's just kind of like, "Hey,
No,
Yeah.
she's not even uncomfortable with it. She seems like, yeah, this is normal.
You know, the mom kind of gets it, right? But at the same time, it's like, no.
Okay. So
This shouldn't
So then
be happening.
Brendan just shows up at the party and is shooting. And Nate's just in his room, you know, with the girls, and he hears a gunshot. He's like, huh? And then we hear another gunshot. He's like, huh? And like, no one's really reacting to him shooting up while he's here. And then finally Nate gets up and he pulls the gun on Brendan and starts shooting back at him. And he's like, well, thank God we were all
Okay, Ethan,
drunk.
hold on a minute.
What?
I just got a phone call from your phone.
What?
I got a phone call. Is this your number?
No, this is
It's
my
like-
number.
Oh, because my phone just rang and I swiped it. It's Ethan talking, and I answered and I'm like, what is this?
This is so trippy. I'm hearing
Hunter,
your
what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I grabbed Jack. I was bored.
Okay. So now, so anyway, you know, no one dies there. Brendan retreats home, and then he hires 2 hitmen.
Uh-oh.
He hires 2 hitmen to kill and or kidnap Nate
No.
Norman
And Topher. But,
and Topher. Yeah.
and you know what? He's fucking insane, because he says, yeah, and you know, if you want to rip and rape the girlfriends too, that's okay.
Yeah, he looks at them. He's like, Jedi. Exactly what he says is like, if you want to rape the girls, that's cool, man. That's fine.
And then
And
he says,
both of the guys are like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude?
and then he says, I'll take enthusiasm over experience any day of the week. And I'm like, this guy's fucking.
I'd hang
Just
out with
go
him.
insane.
Seems pretty cool. Does he have a goatee?
Okay, so then, because Nate got spooked because of Brendan showing up to his house to shoot up the place, he goes to a different location, and he leaves Scuzz and his girlfriend to take care of the place. And he's like, you know, as long as you pays the cable and cleans up the sheets afterwards. He lets them
Boils the sheets afterwards.
Oh, boils!
Boils the sheets.
So,
To completely disinfect them from anything. So
So
they're laying
just-
buck-ass naked in the bed in the dark,
and the
right?
hitmen just come in.
And the hitmen barge in, lights on. Where the fuck is Nate Norman? Who the fuck are you?
No, my favorite part is that after they tie them up, they zip tie them, they look at Scuzz, and they look at the photo of Nate Norman, and they're like, this isn't the guy.
This guy's just like some wiry, skinny little prick with like a goatee and black hair, short black hair. It's like this isn't him.
and they're still naked.
And
And-
zip tied. They're like, get some clothes on. They're
No,
trying to put
only
clothes on.
Scuzz.
Only Scuzz. They're like,
They only
Scuzz,
put underwear on Scuzz.
They're like, Scuzz, put your, get your clothes on. Put clothes on you.
And he's like, I can't, my hands are tied. And then one of the hitmen's like, put clothes on him. He's like, why me?
He's like, help him. He stinks like shit. I don't give a fuck. Put clothes on him now. So they get the clothes on
Fuck
them.
off, Hunter!
They're torturing them.
And then and then Scuzz is like, I know a place. I know where Nate Norman could be. So then they take him to his old house. And the hitmen find 2 little girls in the room, and they just, Hunter, fuck off.
They start screaming.
Hunter, if you call me again,
Damn
I'll
it.
fucking kill you.
They start screaming. The hitman is running away, and an angry black man with a shotgun runs out the front door. And the hitman runs back into the van. Fucking go! A few rounds
Hunter,
of the shotgun
fuck
go
off.
off,
Hey, Ethan. I'm doing a podcast. What's up, man?
and it scares the
Fuck
shit
off,
out of
that's
them.
what's going on.
So obviously, Scuzz and Nate narrates this force. He says, I don't
Wait,
know
was
what
there a black
Mr.
guy?
Scuzz
Hold
and-
on. Wait. Was there a black guy with a shotgun?
Yeah,
Yes.
he was the guy who moved into Nate's old house.
Okay.
So the guy they were interrogating, Scuzz, eventually told them because they were threatening to kill his girlfriend and beat the shit out of him. He says, "Okay, I think I know where he might be." And so they escort them to their
You
van
stop
they
fucking calling
rented.
people, by the way, Hunter.
I didn't call you.
You called me 3 fucking times.
I'm not
you
calling
dickhead.
you now.
So pay attention, for God's sakes.
I know what's happening, Ethan. You're the one who's
You know what?
who's
You know
distracting
what,
everyone.
Jack, I was very proud of Jack for sticking with us through traffic.
Listen, okay? I know what's going on, and you have to stop this rails by talking about these phone calls, and I just want to hear the
Yeah,
synopsis of this
yeah,
movie.
Mr. Wait,
So
what's
if you
going
could,
on? I'm
if you
confused.
could stop,
Mr.
if you,
I'm so confused. I don't know what I'm confused about.
listen, man, continue on. You don't have to stop this, all right? There's no need. Please continue, Jack. You're doing a great job.
Okay, So, Scuzz tells them, okay, I might know where it might be. So, the kidnappers / hitmen put him and his girlfriend in the van, in their rental van, and they drive it up and down the neighborhood.
They're still naked, by the way.
The Scuzz got underwear on, but she's still naked because they were fine with her staying naked. Because they're pervs. Anyway, so they're in the van driving down through the neighborhood, and they're like, which house is it? Which house is it? It's like, okay, I think it's this house. So one of the hitmen gets out. Now, it's not the hitman riding shotgun. It's the hitman who's the driver. So this hitman parks in front of the fucking house, takes the keys with him, and leaves it there.
Yeah.
You might not need we're not going to need a quick getaway. No, we'll be fine. So the hitman goes to the side of the house, opens the window, peeks in. There's two little black girls, their sisters sleeping together. And he's climbing through the window. He's got like a balaclava ski mask on, right? The stereotypical, burglar attire.
We look like bad guys. Incompetent bad guys.
And so the girls start screaming, Daddy, Daddy, whatever. And so the guy's like, oh, fuck. Practically falls out the window, starts hauling ass back to the van, runs around and almost practically Dukes of Hazzards over the fucking hood of the van, opens the door, gets it, starts to start it, and all of a sudden, the black daddy comes out of the front door with a shotgun, cocks it, and as the van starts and they're starting to finally drive off, he gets off 2 shots of the shotgun into the side of the van. Now, Scuzz and Miss Bucket are blindfolded because they don't want them to see their face. They don't want to see the inside of the car. And so they just start hearing gunshots pinging off the van. They start freaking the fuck out. And they're haul ass. They're out of there. And then we don't find out how they got freed because Nate starts narrating it. He says, I don't know how Mr. Scuzz and Miss Bucket talked their way out of that one, but they managed to, or whatever. And so the two hitmen kicked them out of the van in the middle of nowhere. They left them there. And they're still zip tied. She's buck-ass naked she's got like a balaclava on her face to hide her eyes. He's got a balaclava on his face. So they're both blinded, naked, zip tied, in the middle of nowhere, pitch blackness, and the girl's crying like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Scuzz is then with the boys telling a tall tale, and Nate's got a fucking machete, and he just keeps hacking it into a piece of wood. And I'm just like, oh my god, he's turning into like an actual like crime lord at this point. And then Scuzz starts running his mouth off, and then he just smacks him in the leg with the dull end of the machete, takes him down, and he's ready to hack him to pieces.
Yeah.
What's a balaclava?
He gets way too Scarface, this chubby little Teletubby fuck.
He's like Robert De Niro as what's his name? Al Pacino. That's what he reminded me of.
What's a balaclava?
Balaclava is a Russian ski mask. The black knit cap that goes over the whole head.
You know what Jack wore?
Yeah, okay, I know. Okay, I just didn't. I was like, why they're wearing like fucking shawarma on their face? But whatever.
It's in my photo with the Christmas hat.
Yeah.
It's in his photo where he's holding all of that and he's like, yeah.
Alling that and the more.
He's got a bunch of glasses in his hands and he's just like, yeah.
After some deliberation,
and then
the hitmen return to Brendan.
And they're talking to Brendan, and Brendan says something very disturbing. He's like, if the guy doesn't tell you where to go, you then silence his girl by shoving a cock down her throat.
Breaking her front teeth and then shoving her cock down. So
yeah.
Either way, they've had enough of this guy's shit. They get
so then he starts going off about it's like, this is how you dispose a body, and then they get into a car together and they're driving to like some location, and I'm just like, oh, they're gonna kill him.
So they drag his ass out of the van. Well, they don't drag his ass out.
He gets out because he's leading them somewhere.
He's leading them somewhere, but it's in the middle of nowhere. So Brandon Butler has his weak little dog. They're walking there. He's still talking down to them, being a cocky little shit. And one of the hitmen goes up behind him, starts choking him out, or trying to choke him out. And obviously all that big talk and all that ego is deflating rapidly.
And then he just stabs him 3 times in the neck.
Yep, and this is another continuity error.
Wait, who gets stabbed in the neck?
Brandon Butler, the Asian guy.
Oh, okay. That wasn't
the
quite
hitmen.
sure.
The hitmen who he originally hired were tired of his bullshit, so they decided to kill him.
Oh, okay.
So, a continuity error, because he gets stabbed 3 times in the neck by this one guy. So we see the knife go in 3 times, then we cut to the reaction of the other hitman, then we cut back, and the knife is clean.
Ah, didn't notice that.
No, he stabbed him so fast, he didn't even get it bloody.
Yeah. That's how fast it was right there. Huh?
Dude, he just, he turned up the sonic speed.
turn it right the hell up.
So then, oh yeah, and then they leave the dog behind, the fucking monsters. Anyway, and then Topher starts making runs without Nate's permission. He starts going behind Nate's back. And one of the idiots he hires on these jobs is taking the product for himself.
Yes, he covers it up. This ginger guy who we've never seen before, who Nate knows nothing about, decides to tell everybody, hey, I gotta go take a shit. So he takes one of the 10, 20 pounds of weed that they're carrying, and he takes it up with him. He takes it out of the packaging or whatever, and he kind of buries it, puts a stick in it with a little bit of cloth because he wants to go back and get it later for himself. Because he doesn't think they'll notice.
So when he goes back to get it later, he gets pulled over by the cops.
And they find the weed, and they get him there, and they're telling him, you know what, with this much weed, you carrying it, whatever, you'll get 25 years in prison unless you start talking.
Well, the best part is, are you going to tell my mom? And it's just like, he's more worried about them telling his mom than the jail time.
So
That's fair.
They set up another run. It's all business as usual.
Well, wait. They found Brendan's body in the forest.
Oh, yeah, someone found the Asian man's body. Yeah.
And all of them are asking, like, Nate, did you set this up? And Nate's like, yo, you guys want a hit of this coke? Like, he's so out of it at this point, he doesn't seem to give a shit. So now they're thinking, well, maybe he killed him. So,
yes. So after that, there's the ginger guy doesn't want to get 25 years in prison, so he agrees to help the feds get the rest of his buddies. So he doesn't tell them he was taken in. So everything is business as usual. There's another run they're doing in broad daylight. They got the weed. They're coming back to the car, and they all get into the car. The gingers drive, and all of a sudden the cops, the FBI come out of nowhere, and everyone starts freaking out. Topher makes a run for it, but gets caught, and everybody's caught. And now there's a montage of the cops interviewing each of the guys who are involved.
Before that, Ron Perlman goes to Nate and basically gives him the out to get to Canada. He warns him.
In the middle of the night, he shows up and says, I know people, and it is going to be a very bad day for you, and you have been straight up with me, which is rare in our line of work, so I am going to ship you up to Canada with a few of my friends. And so he does exactly that. Nate fucks off, gets out of Dodge, the feds come to his house, bang the door down, and find just a little note with a pipe and weed that says, oh, I went to Ecuador for hiking. I'm totally not hiding somewhere else.
So, yeah, and all of them sold him out.
Yep.
Even Topher sold him out.
Yep.
And I'm gonna call bullshit on what Nate says about him being like, I'd sell one of my kidneys for Topher. No,
yeah, Nate. No, you wouldn't, Nate. You piece of shit.
No, you fucking wouldn't.
No,
you have been screwing him over since hour zero of this. You've been treating him like an idiot. You're the one that made him run across the border where he could get attacked by an animal or caught by the police with all the product on him.
Yep.
You know, he's the one that kept sending him out on runs, not paying him enough, taking more money than he needed. Like, fuck Nate. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Like, as the movie went on, I started to hate Nate more and more.
Yeah, and then at the very end, it's basically, since it's based on a true story...
Well, they do bust Nate because essentially they try to threaten his family, so that makes him come home.
Yeah, so he comes home and he turns himself in because he feels guilty, and he goes to prison. And now it's the end of the movie.
Where are they now?
It's a where are they now? So it cuts to each major player who's been a character and just describes what's happening.
All the boys who were like Topher and the boys, they got like 2 years at most.
Yeah, they got like 2 years at most in the penitentiary or whatever.
And then they're all doing great.
Doing great. And, they've all come out of jail except for one of them. One of them got out of jail, but his pee tested positive because he was smoking weed again, so he got threw back in.
Yeah, but then Ron Perlman, he's still running his successful, legitimate cell phone business to this day.
In that area. And it talks about, it references that one of the hitmen had a brother in jail.
Well, no. The hitmen were brothers.
Okay.
So that's why it happened. So he basically pleaded guilty for like murdering Brendan so that his brother would get a reduced sentence.
Yeah, he pleaded guilty for second-degree murder. That's right. He pled guilty so his brother would get a reduced sentence. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison, and then Nate finally was sentenced to 12 years in prison
And he never ratted anyone out.
He was offered a shorter time if he ratted out the guy like Barry or whomever was supplying
And the guy supplying him.
And the guy supplying him, but he refused.
Oh yeah, and the guy that was supplying him eventually stopped growing weed and then grew organic wine.
And the best part is his wife. His
Yeah.
wife got arrested in the States when she was trying to smuggle like a few hundred pounds of weed down to Nevada at a casino in India.
Yeah.
Casino, she got busted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the end of the movie.
You know, listening to this, I wanted to like really soak in what the hell this movie was, because to me, what I was listening to, this sounded like it sounded exactly like how you described it, Easton. It was a stoner movie turning into Wolf of Wall Street. That's exactly what it sounds like. So I wanted to look up who the fuck the director was. His name is John Stockwell. And Ethan,
Yeah?
he's Cougar in Top Gun.
I wrote that down.
Oh my god!
The director and writer
Connection!
of this movie is John Stockwell, who was Cougar in Top Gun, and he's also in the horror movie Christine,
Yeah.
Stephen King adaptation.
And
Holy,
I'm looking.
why are we... Oh, the connections.
I'm looking at. He has quotes. There's only one quote I can find, and he says, "Screenwriting is a lonely, miserable profession, but the pay can be okay, and you spend a lot of time in Hawaii."
Okay. All right.
So, one other quick little thing you probably might not know. I've only seen the actor in one other movie. The guy who played Nate is Jonathan Daniel Brown, and the only other movie I've seen him in is Project X.
Oh my god.
So in Project X, there were the three main guys. There was Thomas Cubb, there was the very overconfident Jewish friend, then there was the third friend.
There was that wild motherfucker.
Played by there was the third friend who was the same actor who played Nate Norman, the fat, chubby guy with the curly hair and the glasses.
Yeah.
And so he was in Project X.
Oh,
And Project
yeah.
X on its own is
He's
it's a
in
wonderful
5
film.
movies. Like,
What?
he's only in 5 movies. He started off
Wow.
in 2013 in Bad Milo, and then it just kind of, I think, went up from there.
Well,
Has he done anything lately?
The most recent thing is The Final Wish that came out in 2018.
Oh,
that's a bit of a shame. He's pretty good.
he's pretty good. Yeah.
I mean,
But,
yeah.
So, Jack, anything you want to say about the movie before Hunter gives his summarization?
Oh
All right,
boy.
well, overall, except for a few dry moments,
Yeah, the Hitman bit was kind of...
the Hitman bit was kind of overplayed. I wasn't too into it. But I will tell you, right now, I rate it a good. I rated it it's just a fun movie. Got some good. It's got some solid acting, solid performances from everybody.
Pretty cool story.
It's a pretty cool story. Anybody could really pop it in and get into it pretty easily. So I'd rate it, a hard 8 out of 10.
You're giving it an 8?
I'm giving it a firm 8 out of 10. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10 because, I guess it was just mostly just some of the. I know this is a case in a lot of true story movies, where like things just sort of happen because that's how things work in real life.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh my god.
But
this
like,
is based on a true story.
them finding Nicole and that like big weed supplier guy who had like some of the best shit in the world, that was fine to me. But the boat was really like, where the fuck did that come from? That feels a bit ridiculous. I don't know. It just felt like, it's just like in the narration, it's like, yeah, we found this boat and sold it for $1,600. I'm like, where'd that come? Like, it just felt like really odd to just have them say it in narration as they were doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just kind of like there was a few moments like that just annoyed me.
So
And also
Hunter,
the
what do you
also
think
the
about this, Hunter?
English box office, $5,565. One
Okay.
theater.
Yeah, no, they released it only at one theater. It's mainly to be like released to stream and whatever on
Yeah,
demand.
it looks like it was a part of a Miami International Film Festival.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is,
So that was probably just the one
I
theater it showed off in.
considering that there's only one actor that's in anything else that's like big, Ron Perlman, and his role is very small in the movie.
Well,
He's probably
Ron
only in 4
Perlman-
minutes.
Ron Perlman could be in anything, you know.
Yeah, I know, but like he is the only person you're gonna recognize.
Yeah.
Except
They
for
probably
maybe the kid
had him.
from-
They probably had him for like a week tops. And they're like, okay, we gotta
He's-
film all of his scenes now.
He was only in the movie for like 4 minutes.
Yeah, I was about to say I didn't really hear much.
Maybe
Jonathan
4 minutes
Perlman.
on screen.
And like a good chunk of that was actually during the fucking drug running montage.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he doesn't even talk. Yeah.
Hunter, do your thing.
So, Topher and Nate are high school dropouts. Am I correct
Yes,
on that one?
they
Okay,
are.
so they're high school dropouts, and they're like, "Hey, man, let's create a drug empire and go to Canada because weed." And he goes, "Okay," but first they swim in a lake, and then they find a boat somehow, but then they get rid of the boat once they cross Canada. But then they're in a car again, and then they cross the border, and then their asses get fingered at least 3 to 4 times throughout this whole movie.
Well, Nate's
Yep.
does.
At least.
They get the weed from the crackhead, then they get the weed from the mad scientist, and then mad scientist is like, "Hey, don't be a dick." But then, because of selling drugs, he turns into a dick. So then, Chinese man in a thong hires hitman to kill Nate, and that doesn't happen. Shenanigans ensue. They leave a dog home. Sex. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? All of them getting busted, that's not important.
No.
Well, is it?
Well, yeah.
All of them getting arrested is kind of like an important part of the movie, but yeah.
But they're all still alive, right?
Okay, Hunter, I'm gonna ask you a question.
What?
Okay, so if you got arrested and you went to jail for 6 years and someone was to tell your life story, do you think that part where you got arrested would be an important part of your story?
I think that would be the first thing I'd tell people. But
All right,
I don't know how
There
I
you
would...
go. That's why it's important, okay?
Actually, you know what? Can I take back that statement?
Okay,
I'm in jail.
What
I
would
can't
you-
tell people.
but yes, you can.
No, I'm in jail. I only got people that already know my story because I say it in my sleep when I'm screaming in my nightmares.
Okay. I have no idea where you're going with this, but okay.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm in jail.
Hunter, you're just dying today, aren't you?
Speaking of weed, Hereditary.
I was really hoping you'd go with speaking of dying, because I know at least someone dies in this movie.
No, but weed's in the movie too, so it still works.
This movie.
Are you telling me every movie we picked
Has
had
weed?
fucking
Yeah,
weed in
that's our connection. This fucking episode.
All of them have drugs. Yes, absolutely.
it? Yeah, this is as great as the villains all win.
All right, so Hunter, do you want to just let? Oh my God, this movie.
Well, who
Jesus
picked
Christ.
this movie?
I
Hunter
did.
right?
I picked
Okay,
this movie.
Hunter, you introduced the movie.
Okay. So
Oh boy.
first of all, I've heard so many good things about this movie, and I never got to see it. I didn't want to see it in theaters.
Yeah, same boat. Yeah.
But I heard so many good things, and I thought, hey, what's the best time to watch a movie? During a podcast where I'm forced to watch a movie. So this is fucking it.
Hey!
So this was made in 2018. I think I already said that.
Yep.
It was directed by Ari Aster, I think is that how you pronounce his name?
Who wrote and directed it. He also wrote and directed Midsummer, which
Midsommar.
is a movie I have not seen, which came out
2019?
last
Wow.
year.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like Midsummer.
I've heard mixed reviews from that one, just because of how weird it is or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to watch it, and for some reason, I wanted to keep the trend of me and Jack watching horror movies. So
Yeah, no, I'm gonna try to keep that alive as well. But the film there's two stars. Only one of them is a real star. The other one is just someone you'd recognize. The two major characters of focus are Peter and Annie. And Peter is played by Alex Wolff,
Yeah.
who is in the new Jumanji movies. He plays Spencer, the
He's
geek.
the nerd, yeah.
Hi.
And
Yeah,
in this movie, he is very good.
Yeah.
Like, it's a strong performance on him. So bravo to him. And his mother, Annie, who's played by Toni Collette.
Toni
Collette was nominated for an Oscar for her role in The Sixth Sense, and she's been in a lot of stuff like Little Miss Sunshine from years ago. She's, people like us of our generation probably won't know her from much, but
Wait.
quick IMDb search, and you'll see a lot of stuff on her resume.
Toni Collette in The Sixth Sense. Who was she in The Sixth Sense?
I can't remember the character's name.
She was in the movie The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, I know, but was she the mother of the fucking kid, the kid, or the wife of, Bruce
She
Willis?
wasn't the wife.
Okay, she was the mom.
Yeah, she's the blonde.
Okay, gotcha. There.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so Hereditary. It's a horror movie.
I think it's more than a fucking horror movie.
Yeah, this movie was incredibly, especially the first act, incredibly The Shining-esque.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Oh, Jack, if anything's shining like, you're gonna like it.
Oh yes. This movie had beautiful, wide shots. The way they laid out the house of the characters was wide and open.
Yeah.
And the sound, the score, the soundtrack, the way that it's shot and how the camera focuses on characters and how it's throughout the entire first act and throughout the whole film, the music is very simple. It's very dark and low, but it's introduced just enough and at just the right moments that it's so similar to The Shining, because it's just these people who seem normal going about a daily life, but then a certain event happens, and then it's just, you have these moments, these really dark moments that just hit just right with this disturbing, simple sounds and sound effect. The rest of the time, it's silent.
Okay.
It's very.
When you said it hits just right, I'm just thinking of the Pacha meme when he's.
Just right. Yeah.
Sorry, Hunter. I didn't take notes on this one. I was just too busy.
Don't worry, I barely have notes because I was so enthralled by this whole thing. But
great. The note taking just decreased with each movie, didn't it?
Well, yeah, but this was like a good thing.
This movie was gripping. You needed to be fully whoo.
So it's the movie starts with the obituary for the grandmother's funeral. So we don't.
That's the major thing. So yeah, Granny died of old age / sickness when she's like 70 something.
Yeah. So we just cut to okay. So the morning happens and everyone wakes up and they're all getting ready to go to the funeral. We meet the son, he's in bed. We meet the parents, they're in bed, blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, wait, I almost forgot one of the coolest shots in the movie. So the mother makes miniatures, like realistic miniatures of scenes and rooms and everything.
Like she builds houses,
yeah,
right? And like miniature doll houses. And what happens is we see a couple of these rooms already of her houses, and it zooms in way back. We start way back, and it zooms into this room, only to be revealed that it's actually her son's bedroom.
Yeah.
So it just zooms in. It's just like one of those cool transitions, because it looks like we're still in that doll space, especially since how the camera is placed. It looks like a perfect window into this whole room. Like the wall's been cut out completely, and there's a few shots in this movie like that, which is just pretty. It's pretty cool. But symbolism and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, I just you know what? You know what's so interesting, Jack?
What?
Right now, right at this very moment, I just thought of something that kind of works in my head.
Are you telling me you thought of something at this very moment?
So the mother makes all the doll houses and the scenes throughout the movie, right?
Yes.
And it's clear that in some way the grandmother is controlling certain aspects that happen in the movie, kind of like how the mother is controlling the little squares of reality. So when that first shot happens and you slap right in there, it's almost like the grandmother is looking into the house.
In a way.
Yeah. No, I just thought of that. This movie.
No. That's cool.
No, after hearing the grandmother is controlling certain aspects of the movie, like the mother is controlling aspects of reality, I'm just thinking, what the fuck is happening in this movie? I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the thing. Ethan kind of Hunter. That's Hunter's idea.
Can you not just jump ahead in confusion?
Well, he was talking just to me, pretty much.
Yeah, I know.
So, all right. So they attend the funeral, and before they attend the funeral, there's the mother, there's the father, there's the brother, there's the son, and then there's the daughter. They have a daughter.
Yeah.
And the daughter is fucking weird.
Something's not right with her.
She not to be mean or anything, because the casting was definitely intentional. Funny looking. She's a funny looking girl. Definitely unique looking, especially in the face area.
Great actress. You know.
Yes.
This is her debut film. She's got a fucking great career ahead of her.
Yeah,
it was definitely a typecast situation.
Like most child actors, okay.
So she is sleeping out in a treehouse they have out back, and so the dad goes up and says, it's fucking freezing out here. Come on, we gotta go to the funeral. Here's the dress. She's a bit of a tomboy. She's a sweater. She's a hoodie, and she has jeans on. She's 13, actually. So she's 13, and then the older brother Peter is 17, I think, because they're she's about to go into high school. He's about to finish high school.
Yeah.
And what's Charlie?
Charlie's
the daughter. Her name is Charlie.
The girl.
Right. Okay. All right. So sorry, Hunter. Continue. So what? They go to after that. They go to the funeral.
They go to They go to the funeral, and the mother walks over to the podium to speak, and she's like, "Well, I see a lot of faces that I don't recognize. But my mother was very secretive, and she had a lot of her meetings, and what was it? I feel betrayed even talking about this in front of people, and it's very eerie. The funeral doesn't feel like a funeral in a way.
No, it's more like a press conference, honestly.
Yeah, it feels exactly
really strange.
Yeah. And there's weird bald men staring at the children, and just weird eerie vibe. But anyway, they leave the funeral, they go home, the kids go upstairs, and then the two parents are like, do you feel sad? And the mom's like, no, not really, no.
Yeah, so she wasn't really she wasn't really close with her mother, I guess. We find later on that they have a lot of disagreements and a lot of trauma and shit was happening there. So ergo, the son isn't very close to her. Wasn't close to her, so he's not really caring. Charlie, we find out, was kind of close with her.
The grandmother.
They would talk. The grandma.
Is Charlie the mom?
Charlie's the little girl.
Charlie's the daughter. That's weird.
Oh, okay.
Annie is the mom.
They have boy names. Okay.
What?
Annie's not a boy name.
Oh, I thought you said Danny.
No. Annie.
I just heard Danny. I'm like,
ha ha ha, Danny, you silly boy.
Yeah. So and there's then really weird shit starts happening, especially from Charlie's perspective. I got the witchcraft vibes hardcore very early on in the film, because we'll be with Charlie, we'll follow Charlie's character, and she'll be outside, she's just doing her own thing, being fucking a little creep.
Yeah. And
she looks out and sees her grandmother kneeling in like a ring of fire, literally a ring of fire in the middle of nowhere, and it's weird. It's like, ew, why is this happening?
It's like, ew.
And to add insult to injury,
now
Charlie does, which
she
is a
does
sound
that.
I will never hear that sound the same way again.
Oh,
for
yeah.
as long as I fucking live.
She does?
Yeah, she goes. That's like her. That's sort of like a little tick, I guess.
It's a tick, yeah. You know how Jackson snorts and kind of blinks?
Yeah, that's her thing.
She just clicks, but it's not really so much a tick. It's like she's in complete control of doing it. It's just like one of those things that kids do, right? So she just clicks her tongue.
Yeah.
Okay, so when she saw Granny in the Ring of Fire, was Granny looking perfectly fine, or was she burning?
Granny was looking fine. She was like in a white gown, or like obviously her back was to Charlie, so we only saw her back. And it was just, it's again, weird paranormal shit starts occurring in the house after the grandmother dies.
Yeah. So we finally technically get introduced to the son at this point, where he's just nonchalantly staring at an ass of a girl in his classroom. And it's not even like, if the I'm gonna take a note from Red Letter Media, because I watched an interview after I watched the movie, but they were just like, if someone else were to direct this movie, they would have been like, oh, she gets up and there's a nice angle on her ass and she walks away and it's like, yeah, but it's just a shot of her ass sitting in a chair, and it's not sexual whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not sexual whatsoever. It's just like regular teenage boy fucking hormones, right?
Yeah.
It's just her sitting on her ass with her saddlebags hanging off the end of them, and and then he kind of snaps out of it, right?
Yeah.
And
is that when the bird hits does the bird hit the window there?
No. So this was something that it shows both of them in school, but they're different ages, so they're different classrooms, maybe even different schools. And this is where I got really thrown off about Charlie's age, because Charlie's 13, but in her class, it seems like the kids are, they belong in like maybe the 4th or 5th grade. And so if you're 13 years old, you should be in the 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah.
So it was really weird, because I was originally, and she's tiny, right? So I was instantly given the impression, I was like, oh, fuck, okay, so she's got like, 7, her brother's got 7 or 8 years on her, but no. But in the middle of nowhere, where all of her fellow kids are writing the test, she's sitting there awkwardly kind of not sure what to do, just click it, like just the nonchalant, like, again, of her just kind of sitting there. Yeah. A bird hits the fucking window at full speed, and everyone flinches and it kind of like yeeps a little bit and looks through the window like, oh my god, it's so gross. Except for Charlie. Charlie's like a fucking stone, like a statue. She doesn't move, she doesn't react, she just is there.
Yeah.
I just quickly looked up an image of Charlie to see, like, she doesn't look like a 13-year-old. She looks like a 10-year-old. She looks a lot younger than she is.
Mm-hmm. So then Charlie, after school happens, she goes to the bird, looks at it, takes some scissors, cuts off the the bird's head, shoves it in her pocket, walks away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're at that time.
All right, I want to talk about now my actual favorite creepy moment of the movie.
Oh, good.
So the mother is just working. She's got some callers or whatever that are just like, hey, I was wondering if like you can get this done by blah blah blah, and she's like, yeah, whatever. And she's fixing it and whatever, and she's doing all the little miniature stuff. She looks at some books that were from grandma. She's like looking through them. She's like, I don't want to look that. She's about to leave the room, turns off the lights, looks over, and it's just this dead shot. And you just see the grandmother standing in the corner with like black soulless eyes, not moving, just standing there smiling at her, and it just stays there. It just focuses on that for like a good like 30 seconds or some shit. Cuts to her, she turns on the lights, cuts back, nothing, and it leaves you there, and you just stare at nothing for a bit, and you're like,
that's what I mean by like the Shining level of scare and shit. Like, because if you've seen it, obviously, anyone listening or either you two, there's a scene at the beginning of the film where Danny's playing darts, and the music starts to get really, like, even in this scene in particular in Hereditary, there is no music, there's no soundtrack, but it's just a high pitched whine. In The Shining, it zooms in on Danny because he's looking at something, and then it cuts. It slowly it focuses on him for a solid like 4 or 5 seconds. Then it cuts to the twin girls standing there looking at him, the ghosts, right? And they don't even say hello to him. They don't say anything. It just focuses on them, and they walk away. They just leave the room. And there are numerous times where this director / writer, Ari Aster, really went Kubrick with a few of these things.
And it's
he
so
lets
refreshing.
the audience see this see the unknown and let the mind process it.
Bro, it's so
Not
refreshing.
doing cheap jump scares, not with the high-pitched whines or anything. It's just there to be there.
Yeah,
And there
yeah.
to freak you the fuck out.
Ethan, there are no cheap jump scares throughout this entire movie.
No,
Oh.
there are no jump, except for maybe the bird.
And near
But-
the end, but that was a deserved one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just a fucking bird being weird.
Well, to be fair, even The Shining had a jump scare with the lady in the tub.
Yeah. So that's, yeah, it's horror, you know, like,
Yeah.
Like, jump scares are gonna be in a horror movie regardless of fucking movie.
Well, it depends. Like, it depends how far you go as your
Well, it
level
depends.
of jump scare.
well,
For me, a jump
well-
scare is literally a loud, obnoxious, instantaneous
Well-
thing.
No, Jack. I think there's the two different kinds of jump scares. There's the fake jump scare, and then there's the real jump scare. And that's why I don't really mind it in The Shining, because, you know, the lady in the bathtub, she is actually something scary and threatening.
Yes.
It's not some random guy just scaring, you know.
oh no,
somebody.
we're not even talking, well, like, I even hate, like, the insidious jump scares, you know, where it's just, like, every
like
single
when
moment.
Darth Maul was in the background.
Yeah, when Darth Maul's fucking behind goddamn
Yeah.
Ocean Master, and you hear BAH! And that's,
Fucking
It's like,
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul just roars at them.
Fucking Darth Maul in the background,
not-
just chilling.
there's no tension, you know, it just happens. But this movie, there's so much tension that you're waiting. It's like Blair Witch,
And
you know?
the
There's
build
so-
is just
The
perfect.
build up
The build
is fucking
perfect.
perfect in this movie.
So
See,
what's
I love-
next?
see,
So she.
I love when you guys talk about movies you like, because you guys get to gush about things, but, you know, when I talk about movies I just run through it.
You know, it's I don't know. I don't know. I think Hunter and I are on a closer wavelength. Maybe I'm not sure. I don't know how to
Right.
describe it.
Sometimes I like to go into detail, but, you know, then people sound like they're bored, so then I stop.
That's just because they are.
Yeah, fair enough. It depends. It depends.
Hunter, you were so fucking bored during Kid Cannabis and Traffic, and you fucking watched the movie.
I know, right?
So it was. What is it?
He was just
So,
waiting to do this.
this-
This is what he was waiting for.
Yeah,
this
a little bit.
Peter, the son,
Peter
the
Pumpkin
brother. He is. Hunter, you've hung around a lot of stoners. So you're even one yourself. What level is he? Do you think?
I mean, he seems like he's a high school kid, so.
Give me a scale of 1 to 10, level 1 through 10.
Yeah, level 1 to 10, Hunter.
Well, level 1s are people who don't do it, and like level 7s are people who do it, and level 10s are people who are addicted. So, like a level 7.
Yeah, 7 or an 8.
Like
Yeah.
he hangs out with stoner friends, therefore he's a stoner.
He owns a bong. He buys it. You know,
Got it.
just a stoner. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I mean, this is the most recent movie in this thing, so spoiler noise. There it is.
Okay. There it is.
Do you want to? Oh. Okay, so the mother, even though she says like, "Hey, I don't like, you know, I didn't really feel sad for my mother passing, whatever." It's now kind of getting to her, and she's going. She's always leaving the house, and the husband's like, "Where are you going?" She's like, "Oh, I'm just going to the movies." He's like,
She actually goes to like an AA style of meeting
"Yeah."
where it's not AA. It's for people who've lost loved ones
Mhm.
to just kind of sit there and talk in a safe space.
And she comes in and everyone's talking, and there's this nice like circle shot of everyone just listening to one person, and then it goes to her, and then they're just like, "Do you want to talk?" She's like, "No, just here to listen." And they're like, "Okay." And then a little bit, and then she breaks, and she's like, "Well, my mother died recently, and we were never really close together. She's very secretive, and she always forced me to do things, and I've been to these AA meetings for because of her." And then she just goes off like, "And then my brother died, and then my fucking cousin drowned, and then this happened, and then that happened," and then it just cuts to the other people looking at them like, "Holy shit."
We're very uncomfortable right now. Please stop.
Yeah.
It's not like, even though it's supposed to be like very serious, and it is a serious scene. I wasn't laughing at the time
No,
of the scene.
yeah.
But now looking back on it,
It's shot seriously, but it's like it's funny when you say it.
Yeah, when you say it out loud, you understand what it is. It's like, okay, she's oversharing. I don't know how that's possible at an AA meeting, but she's oversharing.
For dead people.
Yeah.
For grieving people, I should say.
Yeah, grief-stricken people, yeah.
Well, normally those people are there for one person. She's talking about everyone.
A whole fuck ton, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to? Oh my God. Do you want to talk about it? The party scene now, Jack?
We should always talk.
I can talk about this is, oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So I can't believe we didn't say this before. At the funeral, Charlie's eating a chocolate bar.
Right.
And they check on it. They're just like, does it have nuts? And she's like, no. So she has an allergy, a peanut allergy.
She's allergic to peanuts and tree nuts. Let's just say tree nuts for the sake, because my brother was allergic to peanuts and tree nuts.
Yeah.
So, so they're relieved. Oh, thank goodness. So anyway, he gets a text. The text messages that the son gets from his friends are just fucking priceless. The one that he gets is, buddy texts him. He's at his house. He's smoking a bong or whatever. Right?
I can't remember now.
And his buddy sends him a text. He's like, "Yo, there's a party at Eric's tonight. Bring your dick!" with an exclamation mark at the end of it. And I'm like,
I'm gonna say that now.
Who talks like that?
Me now.
And this was another creepy ass. This was a creepy ass shot right here, where it shows him.
I can imagine Brett sending me that message.
That's true.
Yeah, that's Brett. That's a Brett level message.
That's
right
a Brett
there.
bump right there.
Yeah, definitely. But we see him, hitting the bong. But we're through the window. We're outside. So he's above ground level. He's on like the second floor of the house where his bedroom is, and we're down like ground level, and we're out from outside. And at the corner of the frame, it's actually, Hunter, in case you missed it, it's actually an over-the-shoulder shot.
Yes, and you see someone. You see someone breathing. Yeah.
Yes.
Of Whomstava looking up there.
Because exactly, because it's getting colder and you can actually see breath.
Yeah.
You can see the smoke. You can see the smoke from the bong, and you can see the breath on the left-hand side. It's like, ooh, it's just one of those things where it's like you notice it, you're kind of like, ooh, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But anyway, his friend's like, there's a party tonight. Bring your dick. Whatever. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the party. He goes down to see his mom. He's like, okay, Mom, there's this school barbecue thing. Is it okay if I take the car? She's like, okay, well, do you want to eat first? And he's like, yeah, I want to eat. And she's like, but you said you were going to a barbecue. And he says, well, no, I'll still eat because I probably, I don't know if I will or not. It's a school barbecue thing. And then she says, well, why don't you take your sister with you? Because Charlie's fucking weird and does weird, like she cuts off bird heads, okay? That's the level we're dealing with.
You understand
right
that she's weird.
I know how weird Charlie is, okay?
So she
okay,
Charlie, Charlie, do you want to go with your brother to this thing? And she says, no, I don't want to. And then after a bit of back and forth, she agrees. Finally, the mother forces her to. And then, so they get in the car, brother and sister, and they go off to the party.
Yeah.
And so they arrive at the party, and everything's copacetic, and the girl who, they get in the door.
Can I just say that, like, what the fuck kind of mother, even if your kid's weird, you let your 13-year-old kid go to the high school party?
Well, no, she thought it was a school barbecue.
Yeah.
Oh. Like it was going to be at the school. It was going to be a barbecue where all of her classmates and whatever else. That's what the son told her, but didn't tell her, it was a high school kid party.
Okay, makes more sense.
So they go to the high school party, they get there, and shit's bumping, right?
Yeah,
There's a bunch of people there listening to music, they're smoking weed, they're drinking. It's a good old time, just like the good old days. So he walks up to the girl, he
Wait, hold up. By the good old days, do you mean your high school days, Jack?
No, not necessarily. It's just a form of speech.
Jack, can you say that again?
It's just a form of speech.
No, before that.
Before that.
What thing before what?
You said
the unnecessary. What was that?
Oh, it's something my stepdad always says. It's unnecessary, but you actually say, "Oh well, not necessarily."
I like that.
Yeah,
like that a lot.
There you go. You can have it. There you go.
The more you know.
But they're at the party, and shit's bumping, and he sees the girl whose ass he was staring at earlier, and she's having none of it. She's kind of a see you next Tuesday actually to him.
Yeah.
Because he walks up to her and he's like, "Yeah, no, hi, this is my sister," and she's like, "Yeah." Because the sister, Charlie draws, she draws some stuff, and she has her own unique art style when she draws people. And she's like, yeah, your sister drew me. She made me look retarded.
Yeah.
And looks like angrily glares at the sister. And he doesn't defend his sister or do anything, but at the same time, he doesn't like brush it off either. He doesn't like submit to her. He's like, okay, well, whatever.
He's like, I got weed.
I got weed. And he's like, he asks her, she's like, do you smoke? I got weed. And she gets up, and I think this bitch is ignoring him and walking away, not even giving him an answer. And I was like, wow, what an absolute trash woman.
Yeah.
But then she starts walking away, and she's like, okay, come here, let's go smoke.
The bong's upstairs.
So, the bong's over here. And so obviously Peter turns to, Charlie and says, Charlie, I'm going to go somewhere real quick. Can you stay here? And obviously she's like, no, I don't want to stay here. I don't want to stay. No. And he says, look, there's chocolate cake over there. Go have a slice of chocolate cake. No, they're not going to give it to me. Well, no, it's a party. Of course they're going to give it to you. Just walk up and ask for it. And then he fucks off and leaves her there. And he goes to the room, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to fucking smoke weed with this hot girl. And they get into the room, and there's like 2 or 3 other people in the room, and she's like, yo, Peter's got weed. And he's like, oh.
He was an accidental plug, and it's amazing.
He's an accidental plug, and he's like, God fucking damn it.
So then we cut to Charlie eating the cake.
Yeah, and everything's all well and good. She's liking her cake. She's minding her own business, standing there quietly. None of these kids say anything, which is kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird that they never acknowledge that there's a little kid at the party, but whatever.
Yeah, I'd be like, she's petite, too, so you'd be like double, like...
Yeah, she looks like a fucking 10-year-old.
Exactly. You'd figure someone would come to her and be like, should you be here? Like,
nah, they're too drunk.
Who are you? I guess. But either way... after we cut to her, she's eating the chocolate cake, and then she kind of feels kind of sick. And then you can see her kind of like...
Her face was getting kind of red.
Her face is getting red. And so we cut back to the brother. He's smoking weed in the room, whatever, the girl. And then she comes in, and she's like, Peter. And Peter's like, well, what's wrong? He's not mad at her or anything. He's just like, what's wrong? And she says, my throat's getting bigger. I'm having trouble breathing. And then it cuts to him like carrying her. She's wrapped around him, and he's carrying her, and he's running with her outside the house. And he throws her in the back of the car. He gets to the car, and like, honestly, he doesn't floor it, which kind of upset me.
But no, do you know what upset me?
What?
If you have a nut allergy, why don't you have an EpiPen with you?
Where's the EpiPen?
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's actually mentioned at the funeral when they ask her if she has nuts in them. And they're like, do you have nuts in them? Oh, thank goodness. Then the mother comes in and says, yeah, we left the EpiPen at home.
Oh, so they're just very forgetful
of that.
says,
yeah, we really gotta get better at that. So obviously, the parents are forgetful, which means the child is definitely forgetful.
Okay, then here's my other problem with it. Why didn't they just call the ambulance? That's just an oversight. I can fully accept.
Well, I mean, I could see, a teenage boy, seeing his sister having a fucking allergic reaction, not calling the ambulance.
That's true. And being like the hero.
Well, also, he's also like high, and he's in a place where he's not supposed to be.
Fair enough.
And like if you call the ambulance, the police and the fucking fire department are gonna show up too. That's gonna cause issues.
You think Peter, if he went to the hospital, he just dropped the body off in the front door of the hospital and drive away?
Pull of traffic. That's what that is. Pull of traffic.
You know what? Some more connections to the other movies. I like it.
I like
so he throws her in the back seat, and he starts driving. He's driving as fast as he can. He's clocking it.
You said he doesn't floor it.
Not right off the bat. No, he just kind of calmly pulls out, and I'm like, really? I'd be fucking flooring it if my brother was having a fit. But either way, it's we cut, and he's driving. He's clocking at like 90 to 100 miles per hour down this road.
Jesus.
And it cuts back to she's getting worse. Her eyes are swelling shut. She's violently kicking the seat because she's trying to desperately get airflow, and he's just talking to her. He's like, please calm down. It's okay. We're almost at the hospital, Charlie. It's okay. And she rolls down the window, sticks her head out, trying to get air because she's just desperate to breathe in because her throat is swelling. She's desperately trying to get air. And as Peter is flooring it, he looks on the road, and there's a buck corpse in the middle of the road, and so he swerves. So the bug's coming up. He swerves violently to avoid it. He successfully avoids it, But unfortunately, at the same time, there's a post on the right side of the road.
Yeah, the moment you said she stuck her head out, I'm like, oh, I know.
And we see this, at the time I thought, 10-year-old girl get decapitated.
Yeah.
You see from the outside of the car her head pop off like a fucking, and that was disturbing.
Bro, that whole scene was done fucking perfectly.
I didn't expect it, not a million miles away.
I didn't expect it because the only thing I knew about this movie was from the trailer.
Was creepy little girl.
Yeah, the trailer was just, they focused on creepy little girls, so I thought this would be like shit like The Omen or something like that,
Yeah, and you think that the whole movie's gonna revolve around her and how connection to the grandmother she has, but no. She gets fucking decapitated like halfway through the movie. Not even like near the beginning.
Masterful marketing.
But the way it's shot afterwards was fucking
God, yeah.
Good. You hear dunk. He stops. He stops in the middle of the road. It's this nice wide shot where it's just the car, and you see him. It's close. He's like sweating profusely. You see him kind of glance up at the back mirror, but he can't look. He can't look.
So we're at his perspective. We see over the shoulder. We see him trying to look through the mirror. We're panning up to the mirror, and then he looks back down, and he's shaking, and like tears are pouring out of his eyes, but he's not actually he's not panting or like normal people crying. He's just shaking there, frozen with tears running out of his eyes. And so he gets back home, and he just parks the car as if it's normal.
Is her body still in the back seat?
Her body is still in the back. At this point, I don't know why. Maybe I missed it. Or I'm remembering it incorrectly. When her head makes contact with the post, I don't remember seeing it fully come off. I just remember hearing the sound and seeing.
No, you never see it. Yeah, you never see it come off.
You never see it actually come off.
Yeah.
We
don't know.
We don't see her in the car, so I didn't know, which is a nice thing to add on with the audience. It's like, what's her fucking body look like?
Yeah.
And
so
he parks the car in front of the house.
Yeah.
He gets out as if normal. He just walks into the house. He walks upstairs and he goes to bed.
Wakes
in
up,
his clothes and shoes and everything. He just falls onto the bed and goes to sleep.
Cuts to morning, and he's still awake in bed. He's still thinking about it. You hear the mom go, "Okay, I'm getting ready for work," or "I need the car," or whatever. Goes down, opens the door, goes to the car. You hear the car door close. You hear it open, and then you just sort of hear screaming.
Violent, hysterical, screaming. And then it cuts to her like sobbing uncontrollably in her bedroom with her husband.
Yeah.
And the son is just awkwardly standing outside the door down the hallway.
She's saying like, "I just want to die. I just want to lay down and die." She's just saying that repeatedly over and over again.
Right.
It's fuck, man. And then as soon as that happens, it comes to the head.
It cuts to her head on the side of the road. It's half eaten by ants.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And it sits there for a good 30 minutes or some shit.
Yeah, no one moves it or anything, and she's getting buried. It cuts to her from the head to the funeral, and then we get another kind of cool shot. Everyone's standing there. She's still sobbing as the coffin's going down. As the coffin's going down, the camera's far enough away, and it's kind of like what we saw at the very beginning with the house kind of thing, where it's like a perfect little cutout. So the camera pulls back from the coffin, and as the coffin descends, we follow it. But we follow it as if we too are going underground from far away.
Beautiful.
So it goes down we go below the ground level, and it's just following dirt until it fades to black. Yeah. And so, Hunter, what's next?
See, this is when I stopped taking notes because I got so fucking invested.
Oh no. Okay.
Jack, you seem to have been remembering the movie pretty well without these notes.
So yeah, but I remember it's like when I memorize my lines. I need prompts, and then it starts flooding back to me.
Gotcha.
But it's
okay.
So yeah, Hunter.
Here's the thing, right? As I was watching the movie, I was picking on foreshadowing and bullshit like that. Technically, I mean, Charlie cuts off a bird's head.
A dead bird, but a bird.
She gets decapitated.
Yeah, I mean, that's fucking foreshadowing if I've ever heard of it.
So, do we ever find out why Charlie was such a fucked up little kid?
No.
Okay.
No, we never
She's
did.
just fucking weird.
Yep. So the mother is now
she had
going.
a strange relationship with Granny.
The mother is now. Oh, shit. So, the father is never impacted really by anything. He's impacted because it's his fucking daughter dead or whatever, but he, like, nothing, everyone kind of gets destroyed in different ways except for him. He kind of stays normal. But there's this one scene where he gets a call where something happens in the cemetery.
He gets a phone call from the cemetery people saying, "Oh, we're just calling real quick. Your wife, Annie's mother, her mother you just buried like a week ago. Yeah, her grave's been desecrated. Someone's dug up her body and taken it somewhere."
Yeah.
Wow.
and then he hangs up the phone. The wife's like, "Who was that?" He's like, "Oh, it's just bank people." So now the mother is going. She's leaving for another AA meeting. And you know what? Actually, it actually doesn't go right there. It takes a while. It sets like the events let it sink to the characters. You know, like the brother is hanging out with his his pothead friends, and he's smoking weed and all that, and he starts freaking out, and he's like, "Yo, I can't. My lungs, my throat's getting tighter," and he just starts crying uncontrollably because I think he's just freaking out about the whole thing.
He's like, it's that moment where he's like, this is what my sister felt like in her final moments of life.
Yeah.
Is her panting and gasping for air, and he just kind of loses it.
Yeah. But
before the AA meeting, the mother is kind of stalking the son. They avoid each other like the plague, because obviously the brother, the brother probably blames himself, but he hasn't apologized for it yet, or hasn't talked or taken responsibility to the mother, which I find odd, but whatever. And so one of the most powerful scenes of the film.
I don't think it's odd that that would happen.
Because he's in shock. Like how do you say
register
something
that?
Like Jack, like you're the one with the younger sibling here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I think you could relate to this.
If you killed your younger brother, it would be so fucking hard for you to warm up to the fact that you did it.
Like,
I'm very. I don't know how. Well, obviously it isn't happen. I can't speak exactly how I would feel. I'm very unfamiliar with death. The only close person I've lost is a cat.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Jack, same here, buddy. The only thing important to me that's died is a cat. I've lost all my grandparents. I didn't frickin' know any of them.
Yeah, see,
most of them were dead before I was born.
Yeah, so again, I don't know how to. And even the funerals I have been to of loved ones and family members, there's only one really that I was kind of close to, and it's just my brain doesn't really register it. I don't really cry, or I'm not really upset. It's just my mind kind of is just like, oh, they're dead. Okay, moving on. And with this whole issue, this whole situation, at this point in time, it's been at least a week. I mean, the girl's been buried in the ground. By now, and I'm usually a very apologetic dude. I'm very quick to admit my faults. So at this point, I would have probably at least attempted to shamefully do anything in my power, like, Mom, this is
once
fault.
we realize why son and mom don't really talk in the beginning,
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's true.
I'd say you probably have.
I'm really close with my mom. So
yeah, I was about to say you're probably a lot closer to your mom than this guy.
Yeah. So one of the most powerful scenes in the film, performance-wise, is there's a dinner table scene. So the mother.
Those are always tense as fuck.
Oh my
so
God.
after this death, obviously, the mother is working feverishly on her models and stuff, and it gets to the point where she's actually making the model of her decapitated daughter. She's got it. She's building it. So she has it built, and she has the head carved in. The husband comes up and is like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she's like, I'm about life events. I make it." And she's like, why are you making this about Peter? Why are you focusing on Peter, your son? This is so, and she's like, it has nothing to do with him. It's from a neutral, blah, blah, blah. Either way, it's disturbing, obviously. And so he says, you know what, I fucking made dinner because you took too long, so come on and have some dinner. And so there they are at dinner. It's Peter, Annie, and the husband. I think his name is George. I can't remember. Either way, George. They're all at dinner. And the son, Peter, just kind of says, Mom, I know you want to say something to me, so why don't you just say it? And the dad's really like trying to bury the feelings, like no, let's not do this. And basically, in a nutshell, the mom goes off on him, and he tries to yell at her, and she says, "I'm your mother. Don't you dare fucking yell at me. Whatever, your scowls and whatever, blah blah blah."
I don't like the face on your face.
You don't take responsibility. You don't say sorry for anything. All you do is fucking scowl at me. Blah blah blah. Your sister's dead. You haven't come to terms with it. It's your fault. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then he takes her psychology and throws it back at her and says, "Well, Mom, you're the one who pushed her to come with me. You didn't want her to come with me, but you pushed her." And so he tries to, instead of admitting that it's his fault, he tries to put the blame on his mother.
But like,
which I would like.
Well,
it is.
I mean, it's a ballsy move.
Yes.
Ballsy play.
Ballsy
I
play.
respect it.
But
I'm gonna say he is technically right that they are both at fault here.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
But neither one is taking responsibility for their side of the fault.
Yeah. It's a destroyed family. You're watching a family just whittle away in more ways than one. It's just, I can't even describe how amazing that table scene is. The acting in it is fucking so goddamn perb.
And so after this point, we follow the mother again. She goes to another, anonymous meeting, and she meets Joan. Now, Joan is a woman who lost her grandson recently, and she's talking to her about loss and everything like that, and yada yada yada, this and that.
Yeah, she's
like, what the fucked up thing about Joan?
She's like, I'm sad, and she's like, I'm sad too.
Her fucked up thing is sadness.
My daughter got decapitated. I'm sad. Decapitated. I'm just tired. We've been at this for over 3 hours. I'm tired.
I know, but sorry, it's just. I'm trying to find something funny through all this. Okay?
I like decapitated.
So, it's and after that,
she's like, if you ever need someone to talk to, call me. I know these AA meetings, they help, but it may be hard, so just call me. It'll be good.
And so as this, as a few more days go by, more shit, gets a bit
fucky,
weird, a bit fucky. Like now, Peter starts experiencing shit.
So have we had any more grandma weird shit going on?
No,
not
really. Not that I can remember.
Because
it's not until
Joan.
It's not until Joan. We go a few days later, and some, from what my memory can serve, some minor creepy shit happens with Peter.
We're skipping over a lot of creepy shit. We're just now pinpointing the most important shit that happens.
Yeah. So a few days gone by, creepy shit occurs. Like really creepy, fucked up shit occurs. And she runs into Joan again. They're grocery shopping, and she says, "Look, this is crazy. You're gonna think I'm a fucking nutcase, but you have to trust me. Come with me. Going back to my house." So they get back to her house, and she has candles set up. It's like a seance thing, and she's like, "Look, I was talking to a psychic, and the psychic was showing all this stuff." And they had skeptics and they had neurologists and all these skeptical people like myself at the ceremony. And then the seance did it. And she taught me how to do it. So come, sit with me. I can talk to my grandson or whatever. And they sit at the table. They put their hands together, the palms on the table. And sure enough,
it actually
on the table, and it actually works.
It actually happens.
Worked, yeah, completely, way too well. Freakishly too well.
Like she's like, hey, if you're here, move the glass to the right. And the glass just moves to the right.
And she gets out a chalkboard, and the kid starts writing "I love you, Grandma" on the chalkboard through like nothingness. You just see the chalk moving by itself, and obviously Annie is freaked the fuck out by this.
Yeah.
So, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I can't be here anymore." It scares the crap out of me. She goes home. then she goes home, and she can't stop thinking about it. And so she kind of has an emotional breakdown in the middle of the night and goes and wakes up Peter and says, Peter, you have to trust me. We have to go do something. Wakes him up. Then she wakes up the husband and says, husband, wake up. We gotta go. We gotta go down. We're gonna do this. And she sets up the table, and we don't see her before, but she claims to have already contacted Charlie for Beyond the Grave. Like, she claims she's done it already. And so the husband, all the crazy shit that's been going on, that Peter's been seeing, that she's been seeing, he's suspicious as fuck because he thinks that she is, lying to Peter and poisoning his mind and all this other shit because she's weird. And now she's like begging them, please just, do this, just do this with me. And they do it. And sure enough, the glass moves, and it's Charlie, whatever, asking about it. The son gets fucking creeped out, and he says, don't you guys feel like the air in the room like fucking clenching up around you, like this and that? And then behind them, the cabinet smashes, and by far the creep, everything is fucking creepy in this movie, let's face it. But one thing is that Charlie possesses the mother for a few seconds, for about 20 seconds, and it's a mixture of the husband trying to talk to the wife and Charlie trying to talk to Peter, and it's her voice through the mother.
She's like,
weird.
"Where's mommy? Where's mommy?"
It snaps back and forth between the wife and the wife and Charlie, Annie and Charlie, talking to the husband, talking to Peter, and Peter's like having a complete emotional fucking breakdown, crying, and the husband's like, "What the fuck is going on? Stop doing this! It's fucking weird." So the husband runs, gets water, and splashes it in her face, and the mom's like, "What happened? I don't remember anything. What happened?" And they're just like, "This is some fucked up shit. We're never doing this again. Ever. We're never doing this again." And after that, shit gets real with Peter in particular.
Yeah. Now, all of a sudden, Peter is the main focus of this movie.
Of this, like, supernatural energy as well.
Yeah.
So, there's this bright light, almost, like a beacon, that Annie started to see originally when the ghostly shit started happening. Now Peter is seeing it. After this event, Peter is the one who's like the magnet for all this ghostly business. And he's at school, and he's sitting there, and he's looking around at stuff, and he sees his own reflection in the cabinet in the classroom next to him. He's just sitting there, and he's like in a state of like fucked upness. He's scared shitless, and he looks in the mirror, and the mirror, his reflection, not the mirror, but like the glass, there's a reflection, is smiling at him. And as he's staring at the reflection, it's just this, and then all of a sudden, and he starts hearing Charlie's at random points in the movie around him. And then that following day, he freaks out. He sees that his dad has to come pull him from school. That following night, he's lying in bed. He wakes up. He wakes up. He looks at the corner. He sees Charlie standing there in the corner, and then her head falls off and rolls into the light, and it becomes a ball. And then two hands emerge from behind his bed, grab hold of his head, and start yanking on his head. And he starts screaming and freaking out and crying. Then he wakes up, kind of, sorta. He wakes up, and his mom is there. Yeah, he wakes up. It was like a dream within a dream or whatever fucking weird nonsense. There's a few of those instances in this movie.
Yeah.
And the mom is there. She's like, "What happened, Sadie? What happened?" And he's convinced that she was the one who was strangling him in the bed. And to be completely fair, she very well could have been.
Yeah, she could have been.
We don't see that it was her either, because she was possessed before, so she could probably be possessed again, and it could be fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she doesn't seem to very much like him.
Yeah, no, so after that, she kind of figures out at this point that she needs to get rid of this particular journal.
She needs to get rid of the drawing book, because that's the thing that's connecting the ghost world to the real world, basically.
She needs to get rid of Charlie's drawing book?
Yes.
Yes. Because during the seance, that was like how the grandma had the chalkboard? Joan had the chalkboard for her seance? Yes. She had the drawing book for Annie had the drawing book for Charlie's seance. So she takes the book and decides to burn it.
Oh, no.
She throws it into the fire, And as soon as she throws it into the fire and it starts catching, her left arm catches on fire. And it starts burning like crazy. And she's trying to put it out, but it won't go out. And so she looks at the book. She grabs the book out of the fire with a fire poker and stamps it out. And sure enough, as she stamps out the flames on the book, the flames go out on her arm. And so now she can't get rid of the fucking thing that's keeping this ghost and this weird shit happening in the house.
Yeah.
So, Hunter, you can pick up from here.
So, I don't exactly remember how, like, she gets to, why she goes to the attic, but throughout the entire movie, there have been kind of like these kind of like throwaway lines of like, what the fuck, it smells in here. So she goes to the attic, and there's flies everywhere in the attic. She looks over.
The smell is terrible.
And there's Grandma's corpse.
in the attic.
Yep, Grandma's corpse is just laying in the attic. And then she's like, holy shit. And then she runs downstairs, and then... Oh, she goes to Joan's place.
She bolts to Joan's place, and she's pounding on Joan's door. Joan, what's happening? Joan. And then we pan back into Joan's room, and her house where she had the seance, and she's got candles everywhere, and sheets everywhere, and this demonic star on the table with a picture of Peter with his eyes crossed out in the middle of this table with all these candles and weird incantations and
you got
shit.
a satanic ritual going on?
Including like a toy of Charlie's and the bird head that somehow she got the bird head that Charlie cut off. And she's pounding on the door, but Joan's obviously not home, won't let her in. And we cut to Peter, who's in the school, and he's sitting there and he's having lunch outside. And Hunter, do you want to talk about this?
Oh my god. So he's sitting outside with lunch. He looks up, sees Joan across the street. Now, remember when you said that Grandma was outside in the fire pit with Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably Joan, 100%.
Oh, it might have been.
Because it was the same dress she was wearing.
Yeah. Oh, freaky deaky.
Yeah. So.
Oh shit. Okay. That's another way to think about it.
Yeah, and Joan's also an old lady because she's...
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, what was she saying? Like, you're gonna die, run.
Yeah. She's chanting. She says, "I cast you out. I cast you out, Peter. You are gone." Like as if she's chanting to have him removed from like his body, or to have him die.
Death chant.
Yeah.
The death chant, and he is freaked the fuck out by this. So obviously he runs back into the school, and he sees the light again, and he keeps hearing Charlie's clicking as he's running through the hallway, and then he finally gets back to the classroom where he was in.
Yeah.
And he's after lunch, and he's in the class, and the clicking keeps happening, and all of a sudden his hand violently gets raised up, but his wrist is like kind of crooked
like
and broken
downwards.
and snapped. And so his hand goes up, and everyone's like, "Yes, Peter, do you have something to add or whatever?" And his head and his jaw are kind of crooked and off a slant.
It looks like
he
he's
starts
like
clicking.
Yeah,
with
he's
his mouth.
like having a stroke, and one of his eyes is bloodshot.
And he starts clicking like Charlie clicks. And then his body cracks again a little bit. He rapidly starts convulsing and slamming his head into the desk.
Yeah.
So he breaks his own nose as
Boom!
his body like convulsing and possessed.
Yeah.
Or it's
One
becoming
slam.
possessed. But at this point, I gathered it was Charlie possessing his body.
Oh.
Or something like that.
Okay. All right. I got some theories. So.
Okay. All right.
Game theory.
So. Yeah. So he slams his head a second time. He wakes up. He just starts screaming. He has no idea what the fuck just happened. And the dad gets a call. He's drinking. He's like, "What? What happened to him? He did it to himself?" He picks up the son, and they go home. And now the mother, at this point, is just looking through the books of the old grandmother. And then she finds something interesting. Grandmother was a cult leader, and Joan was a part of that cult.
Joan was like the right-hand woman.
Yeah.
And Joan had introduced herself as someone who knew nothing about Annie, didn't know who she was, had no relation, no attachment. And there's this symbol on this necklace that both Annie's mother, who died, had, and who Joan had. We see this symbol throughout the movie, actually. There's a symbol is painted in blood above the headless corpse in the attic.
Yeah.
And so she gathers all of this information, and she's like, husband, you have to believe. I keep calling him husband. I'm sorry, but husband, you have to believe me. You have to believe me. There's a fucking corpse
And
up there.
she's like, and once again, I'm gonna pull this from Red Letter Media because I think Jay said it perfectly. He said, if there was any other director doing this, when she's fucking batshit insane, telling him that like there's a fucking corpse in the attic and fucking shit's happening, I tried to burn the book, and if there was a different director, he would just like bam, cut, look how crazy she is, but it's just this sweeping 2-shot, and that's all it is, and she's just like fucking scratching him, and she's like, I don't know, you have to burn the book, and he's just like looking at the book. He's walking over to the fireplace, and he turns around. He goes, I can't do this anymore. You're sick. You. And then so he goes up to the attic and he sees the body. And then it clicks in his head that like all those times you've been saying you're going to the movies, you just dug up the body. You put it there. So he thinks that she went fucking insane. And then she goes, no, I'm not fucking insane. She grabs a book. She's like, look, I'm gonna light on fire. Throws into the fire pit. And then the husband lights on fire.
The husband fucking dies from burns.
Yeah.
And at that point, after that happens, the mother gets possessed. By what? By who? We don't know. Something.
She just totally changes. And now, here's another one of the creepiest shots of the movie.
Oh
my fucking god.
So... God, it's so fucking scary.
The brother...
It's so weird.
The brother is now laying in bed. He wakes up. And it's that same 2-shot, or that same like wide angle we saw at the beginning, where it looks like a playhouse room. But the mother is just standing in the top right corner on the ceiling, just standing. She's looking
like
at her.
Spider-Man in the corner in the darkness, and the shot shows him. You know, we zoom in onto him. He gets out of the bed. He's saying, "There's like mom," or he's calling her name, whatever. And the shot holds for over a minute.
Yeah.
And it's just the mother standing there motionless in the corner, and him trying to like come to and get a grip of what he's doing. And then the camera pans slightly to the left, or the camera moves to the left. We're still focusing on him, and the creepiest shit I have seen since The Exorcist in terms of body movement. Holy shit! As we're still focusing on the son, we just see the mom behind him levitating, but levitating sideways as if she's crawling on a wall, but isn't.
Yeah.
So we just see dead silence, just the mother crawl levitating out of the room for a split second. There's no hardcore music, there's no jump scare, no nothing. It's just dead fucking silence of her going from left to right, leaving the room.
And then
he doesn't notice. He's oblivious to it.
He leaves the room. He goes downstairs. He's checking everything. And then it's another shot where he enters the living room, and you see the mother just in the corner on the fucking ceiling. And then he sees the burnt body. And then he turns around. And then there's a naked guy in the living room. That
guy, fun fact with that or whatever, because I noticed it. At the funeral, at the beginning of the film, the grandmother's funeral, when Charlie was in front of the grandmother's casket, there was a family member who was smiling at her.
Yeah.
It's that family member. It's that guy.
That's him? Okay.
So that guy. So there's this buck-ass naked guy with his dick and balls hanging out, just staring at Peter. And Peter's staring right back at him like, what the fuck?
And then the
then
mother...
Then he sees his mom.
Yeah.
The mom comes down, and the mom violently starts chasing after him. And he runs to the attic. He gets up there in the attic. He hides up there, and the mom is banging on the roof, banging on the door of the attic. And he's screaming, he's crying, he's begging her. He's like, "Mom, please stop, Mom, Mom." He even starts calling her mommy at one point.
Yeah.
He's crying, telling her to stop. And then we pan, we don't pan, but we cut to see what the mother's doing. The possessed ass mother is on the ceiling on her hands and knees, headbutting the fucking door into the ceiling rapidly, like a fucking jackhammer. And it's one of the most unnerving things.
Oh, this is one of those attics that has like a ladder.
Yeah, it's
entrance.
a drop down thing. Like you pull the lever and then a ladder comes out.
Okay, because my fucking Matthew, he's had 2 houses, and his first house had an actual stairwell to the attic. And the next one had a proper ladder.
Yeah. So this is a ladder one.
Okay.
So he's now up in the attic, and I gotta say, this is the only downfall I say of the movie is that it's clear that they're CGI flies, because the actors, when they're up in the attic, they do not react that there are flies up there, like whatsoever. They're just walking, doing their thing, being amazing actors, but CGI flies. But whatever. So he looks around, and you think that the body's gonna be there, but it ain't. It's not there. Then he turns around, and the mother is now suspended in midair, rapidly stabbing her neck with knives. Just boom, 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 boom. And then it cuts to a close-up, and she's just intensely staring, and she's like, fucking...
Yeah, so she's still violently possessed by something, but she's just deadlocked with Peter. And to me, I'm not sure if it was knives. I thought it was, in Hitman, that strangular.
Oh, it could have been. It could have been, because it sounds like her head rolls off afterwards.
The garrote, or the garrote?
Yeah, like a piano string. Yeah.
And she's violently sawing through her fucking head, suspended in midair, like head on the top of the ceiling, not tied to anything, just violently fucking sawing her head off. And he sees, obviously, what the body used to be. It's his photo with his eyes crossed out again.
Yeah.
There are more buck-ass nude members.
I think even Joan was up there naked.
From the darkness, staring at him.
Yeah.
And he runs. There's a window in the attic, and he just fucking screams and runs out the window and falls to the ground.
Now, here's what I think, right? So, I think at that moment, when he runs out of the fucking window and face plants onto the ground, I think he's dead at that point. I think he actually died. Because there's a point where that, like, little glowy bullshit follows him, it trickles down, it goes onto his back, and then disappears. And then that's when he wakes up. I think that's Charlie.
And the body language is different.
Yep. And
like not the eye color, but like the way that the eyes just look and the way he carries himself.
Yeah.
And as he's getting up, or he's coming to, well, Peter, how she is, I guess, is Charlie's coming to.
Yeah.
The headless body of the mother is levitating up the creepy old ass treehouse that they have in the back, and it just levitates up the ladder. And so Charlie gets up in Peter's body and is just walking towards the fucking treehouse, and it's even more evidence pointing towards Charlie, of course, walking along just. Yeah. So she's walking along, looking up. She climbs up, and there's a bunch of naked ass people fucking bent over on their knees, worshipping some sort of statue that they made, which is ghetto as fuck. Now maybe Hunter can explain this better, because it's fucking
so the reason why I believe, and I think this is right, the grandmother in the attic was headless, because when they went up to the treehouse, it was the scarecrow thing with a fucking just a gross head, and I think that was the grandma's head on like a scarecrow.
It probably was, because they viewed her as like the previous deity, right?
Yeah. So they take the crown off that one, and then they put it onto the brother, and then they're like, "Congratulations, you're the 8th king of hell." And then they all just start chanting.
They're all. I forget what the king's name is. It's like Romius, or I don't know what it is.
Something like that.
But it's basically they're all worshippers of this 8th king of hell, and they've worshipped him and supported him or whatever. And the grandmother was a vessel of that king.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened was since the grandmother, her daughter Annie wanted nothing to do with her bullshit, and Annie in the movie actually explains how she didn't let her spend time with Peter because she said, "Fuck you, he's my son. You're not having anything to do with him with your weird bullshit."
But she got to spend time with Charlie.
But she got to spend time with Charlie.
So, what we're saying is, Charlie's so fucked up because she was being groomed to be the next vessel of a fucking king of hell.
Perhaps.
All right, I can buy it.
And so they all refer to her as Charlie. So it's even further supporting the fact that it's Charlie now inside of Peter. And then the movie ends. And that's Hereditary.
Yeah, and then that's Hereditary.
Wow. That fucking went off the goddamn rails.
Dude, you have no idea.
The freaky thing about it is even as far-fetched and as crazy as it went, honestly, all the shit we've seen up till this point, we buy it.
Yeah.
It's not too far-fetched at all. Like some horror movies, or some movies in general, where they have the climax and that ending that's really outlandish, and it kind of ruins it for most people. For Hereditary, nah.
Best part is, at the beginning, at the funeral, I clicked on something, and I actually guessed that the grandmother was a cult leader, because
all the bald dudes.
Because she was like, well, there's a lot of unfamiliar faces, and she always had her group meetings, and I was like, okay, that's a cult.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But either way, this movie for me, it's a hard 10 out of 10. Holy shit.
Dude, I need to watch it again.
Yeah. I was about to ask, do you think this is gonna have a strong rewatch value?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I need to create some goddamn theories about this, because I was creating theories on the fly watching it, but now since I know it, I can actually pay attention to it.
It was pretty fucking good. I'm rating it a 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, Jack. This was a fucking 10 out of 10. This is one of like, and I feel like I always say this. This is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Like I said that with Blair Witch, but like this was genuinely like Blair Witch had downtime, but this movie, its downtime was either like character building or just creepy as shit.
Yeah, it was constantly tense. That's what's great about this film.
It was constantly tense and unnerving.
Which is just like The fucking Shining. There are moments of normalcy, but it's still uneasy, the environment. And they did it even... And the thing about this movie, which puts it like... That gives a more of an oomph to it than The Shining, is that the scenario, the situation, the daily, aside from the really fucked up shit, they're still at their house, they still go to work, they still go to school. They're not isolated.
They're in public.
Yeah, it's not like
the
fucking.
Fact is that unlike The Shining, they lose. The family gets murdered.
Yeah, and it's not like Insidious. Like I like to bring up that because it's fucking a bad movie. I don't like. It's not like, you know, you go into that house and it's like, ew, this looks like a haunted house prop. But like this house, it's a house. It's a lived-in house. Like,
it's a very open house, and it's conveniently open, and the living room and the downstairs for the sake of wide, beautiful shots. Oh. And it also feels real. Like it doesn't feel too far-fetched, except for maybe the kitchen living room distance.
Yeah, but it's whatever.
It's whatever.
Choice.
Yeah.
When you're complaining about the kitchen living room distance, I think you got a good movie.
Yeah, that's the only thing that can really fucking pick apart, honestly. It's like, there's no like continuity
the kitchen
errors,
and the living room were too far apart.
Or any bullshit like that. It's all pretty much straightforward.
Hey, Ethan.
It's a great movie.
Hey, Ethan.
Yeah?
Oh, wait, hold on. Just hold on. Hold on.
I hear what you're doing, by the way.
What? Just hold on.
I heard it.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah, you're fucking calling me again.
Yeah,
okay?
I know. Just hold on.
I'm not picking it up.
No, but like,
you have reached
motherfucker. Okay, I'm gonna. Well. Okay, what'd you think of the movie?
I think.
What? Like, describe it.
Oh, you mean summarize it? Okay,
yeah, I was gonna say that while calling you. I thought. Fuck you. Just describe it.
No, shut up. You cretin. You've called me 4 times during this so far.
Do you want me to
holy
shit!
Jack? This guy, Alex Wolff, he's only 10 days older than me. Oh shit!
Yeah, when I looked him up, he's not very. He's like he's our age.
Nummies.
Yeah, he's 10 days older than me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, Jack.
Yeah.
You are 2 years older than me, after all.
Yeah, and miraculous, like, what? Is it 4 years older than Hunter? Holy shit. 4 years? Which doesn't make any fucking sense in my mind, but fuck.
All right, Ethan.
So, Hereditary is a movie. And it begins with Granny dying. No one seems to give a shit. That's all I'm gonna say.
There you go. There you go. Yep, no one gives a shit, and weird shit starts happening.
Yeah, weird shit starts happening. You know, the marketing in the movie make it seem like Charlie's gonna be like really important and gonna be like the crazy one throughout the whole thing, doing stuff because you know, as Jack eloquently put, she funny looking.
Yes.
She cuts the head off of birds. She pockets the bodies. You know. She's creepy, but then you know. Son goes to his stoner high school party. Mom forces the daughter to go along with because she's emotionally distraught and doesn't want to deal with her kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then she has an allergic reaction. An accident happens. Why? Wait, what was the thing he was swerving out of the way of?
Dead deer corpse.
Yeah.
Why is there a deer on the road?
Because they live in the countryside, right?
Okay.
In this house where the fancy people are. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Where the fancy people are.
Fancy. And you know, daughter gets her fucking head decapitated, and we're only halfway through, baby.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the end of the first act. Honestly.
Oh.
To be honest,
it was like 2 hours, just over 2 hours.
Well, you know what? I of course, you know the immaculate quote of "Bring your dick." I think we gotta use that. I think we gotta use that more in life.
Come to the party, bring your dick. Jesus.
You know, someone digs up Granny's grave. No one seems to really care. The father doesn't even tell his wife about it. It's just like...
Well, he keeps it from her because he didn't want to disturb her. But at the point of the book burning, he even tells her, he's like, you know what? They told me the grave was desecrated, and I didn't want to hurt your feelings, but fuck you!
Yeah, but then I wrote this down in emboldened caps lock. Powerful scene. You know, when the mom she calls Peter out, and then Peter calls her out. You know, no one wants to take responsibility for their, you know, this tragedy. And then, you know, she meets this crazy lady named Joan, who's all into this kind of, like, occult shit.
Yeah.
And, you know,
yes,
Charlie
we do
possesses
know,
the mom.
Ethan. We do know. We watched the movie. We know.
Well, you know, I'm just... that one I did on purpose, and then I was just but, like, yeah. I'm just saying it's just, like, my way of getting through all this.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, you know. So, possessions happen. Joan is doing some ritual on Peter.
Peter.
Peter. The father dies from the book burning. Then, you know, then the mom gets possessed. The son gets freaked out by a bunch of naked bald dudes in his house, and his mother possessed, levitating, banging her head on shit, decapitating herself. He runs out of the window, dies, possessed by Charlie. And then, you know, Charlie becomes the vessel for the devil.
Bingo.
Jack, you weren't here for the one with Kaylin because you weren't there.
Yeah.
But I said I like these like miniature synopsis of these movies because it sounds like you tell like a 6-year-old to like describe the movie you just saw. Well, I saw a guy and he went to that place and then the grandma died and then everyone wasn't sad.
And you know, the movie ends.
Yeah, the movie ends. That's... Oh my god, it's almost 3 hours and 40 minutes now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
Okay, so with that, I suppose...
Yes, gentlemen.
As good a time as any now, I guess.
I believe so.
Okay,
to call it quits.
To call it quits. So anyone out there who actually made it this far...
Well, you know, I think most people who watch this shit watch it in multiple sittings. That's what I do with these videos.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
This is a long-ass time to watch. We appreciate you sticking around. If you are listening, I do feel pity for you, though, if you are listening, because it means you're just going as crazy as we are at this point in QuarinTime. So thank you for watching QuarinTime. please come. Come again. Watch our other videos if you'd like. Watch.
Please come. Yes.
Yes. Please come. Yes.
Bring
yes.
your dick.
But anyway,
Bring your dick.
yeah, man. Anyone listen to the QuarinTime? Get over to the party and bring your dick. Anyway, I am Jack, one of your co-hosts.
I'm Ethan, the other one.
I guess I'm Hunter then.
No, you're
And
not.
that has been QuarinTime. Next week, we're just going to be talking about random shit, I think, gentlemen. I don't know if we have anything planned, really.
Nah, just fucking...
Not at this current moment.
Just going to shoot the shit. And then
Hey!
the week after that, more movies, and et cetera, et cetera.
Et cetera,
So,
et cetera.
everybody, thank you for listening. Take care.
I salute you for listening to this bullshit.
Yeah.
Something funny.